And we are back with another episode of the Survivors of Tarnstead for the first and only time
today.
We've been here 8 times.
We are gonna go by our usual method of roll call that we totally haven't already done. First up, we have Kronos Hez.
Shaksa and Rotscala.
We have had there, Nez. No. This is normal. We have Marcus Hez.
Corvus had a lass.
We have Sammy Hez.
Gift and Greysteel.
We have Tobias Hez.
He's too excited.
Has to be a PS still shot. Why are we back here?
And finally, you have for the first time this night, me, Yuli, as your friendly DM.
Yuli?
Did you skip somebody?
You skipped Blackheart.
Oh, yes! Okay, right. Rewind noises again, people. Rewind. And welcome back to another episode of Survivors of Tarnstead.
Earlier, I have all the original ones, so I have all of this.
I'm getting some.
We're going to start in our usual manner of interaction. First up, we have Blackheart Hez.
Carrick
We have
Barks.
Kronos Hez.
Shaksa and Rotscala.
We have Heten Hez.
Told your Forge Hammer.
We have... No, fuck! You know what? We're starting. Who would like to give the recap? I think I have an inkling that it might be Sammy. Don't ask me how I know.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm doing the recap now.
Yes.
Okay. I got confused. I looked around like somebody at the weather station that suddenly got swapped over too. I'm like, oh no, why am I doing this report? Okay, so last time we caught up with Corvus. We found out that he went to the refugee camp. He met with different people, tried to do some investigating, offered as much help as he could. He found out about a general. He did not actually make contact with the general. He heard lots of wild stories about the general being amazing and all sorts of cool stuff, and kind of checked in on and took care of people. He was there for a while until he eventually got called back to meet with all of us who had been assigned a place to stay. He went up to the gates, complained about not wanting to go in because he wanted to spend all night out with the refugees, but they were like, no, we want you all together. Come. And our other officer went back to the airship. Corvus went and got into the main city of Faramir. He was led around by a skeletal guard named Oak, who was a botanist. Oak gave him a slightly small tour, had an interesting conversation with him. He eventually met up with us during that time. Carrick explained to Valda and Luther that he has dream problems. Valda and them seem to appreciate being told this, and offered to do some testing of some anti-dream ward stuff that she hasn't really had anybody to be able to test it on, because most people from Hexenreich that are suffering from this are too scared of the undead. So she offers to do that as Telde comes stay in the room with, so that way she can have somebody to kind of like watch from our group to be a witness that she's not doing creepy things to Carrick while he's sleeping. Telde goes in the room with her. They have a nice conversation. I guess nice. I don't know. She seems to be trying to give him a pamphlet about his stay at Rusty Oaks, Faramir style. If he'd like to come retire here, that would be great with her. Corvus, meanwhile, when we were all meeting up, tried to talk to Gifton about the refugee tag, talked about the general, talked about going back out. Gifton tried to talk to him about going to take Echo, and maybe we should be talking to Echo some, and maybe Echo should be like, not just being shuffled off to the corner and left alone because it feels bad because she's a person and she loves you, in a way of like, she likes you, but I don't actually know how her emotions work, but she cares, and she, a thing. Gifton and Corvus agree that they're going to go help tomorrow. Gifton sends 150 good berries to go out with some undead to go hand them out, and everyone went to bed. Bedtime was great. Sleeping, comfortable beds. Comfortable for some, anyway. Gifton had a nice big pillow, and Cassie had an enormous fucking bed. Like, bigger than a king size. Massive. Not sure how it got in the room. While we were sleeping, some people woke up. Some people did not. Shadows attacked. Some of us got stabbed. Some of us didn't. Carrick didn't, because he's lucky. Telde didn't, because he was there to protect Carrick. Me, Cassie, Corvus, and I don't know. Shax, did you get stabbed?
Got stabbed.
I got stabbed, but I resisted the extra effect.
Yeah. You got stabbed, but you're fine. But pretty much everybody but Carrick and Telde got stabbed. Gifton was affected very badly by the initial stab and couldn't move. Corvus failed the save versus the poison and eventually couldn't move. Cassie beat the poison and had strength to spare. There was a bit of an altercation between a bunch of the shadows. After the shadows were down, Corvus had collapsed and couldn't breathe. Carrick yelled that Corvus couldn't breathe or was couldn't move and couldn't breathe, and people rushed off in different directions. Dingus, of course, started panically telling everybody save Gifton, save Gifton, save Gifton, because he had priorities. That's why you keep a familiar loved. All right, and so we had various people go to different rooms. Corvus, as soon as he was able to act, immediately lashed out with a turn undead destroy, which caused a bit of a backlash because there were no threats up and we had plenty of friendly undead nearby, and it kind of is a massive AoE. So he got talked to by various different people, including Luther, who tried to give a calm hand and actually stopped Carrick from striking him at one point when he said something kind of unkind at Luther. The group is then given the offer to stay there, move to another building, or go back out to their airship if they do not feel comfortable. Gifton presses that she wants to stay because she feels like if they left, it would have been a sign that we were scared and that we could be manipulated out of town by this behavior. The group stays, and in the following days, because I guess we went forward like 3 days during that. And in the following days, things start getting hammered out with the kind and gentle council here. We start making things. Of course, we are not greatly loved by Otto because we cost a lot of money to exist. We get things hammered out where food supplies and stuff start coming in. It starts to ease a little bit of the pain that's been going on for Faramir, taking care of all the refugees. And we as a group, I believe, set out to the refugee camp with Corvus in an attempt to offer aid because we found out about a new medical place that opened up. And I believe we ended off with us showing up at the air quote medical hospital where a gentleman who looks like he could be Corvus's cousin is coming out of a tent, and somebody saying thank you, Aldo, and Corvus is getting a look at what seems to be a younger version of his father. And I don't think I missed anything.
No, that was very good. In fact, you can have a heroic inspiration for that.
I got a heroic last week.
I know.
Spoiled.
Oh, spoiled.
I'm taking it.
Okay.
Play immediately.
We are going to pick up where we left off, although I'm going to make a couple of notes because you guys would be able to observe this during your meetings and so on. Because we did do a couple of days rush through because I wanted to get things started going, wrapping up. Annalisa is at the meetings, but she is rather cold, standoffish, but she's doing her job as is needed. Otto actually doesn't seem to have much animosity for you guys. Like, he's very frank about the cost of everything, but he doesn't seem to attach any sort of morality to that. It's just if he's asked, what is the most efficient means for saving money, he'll give you that. If he's,
leave!
Yeah.
Skeksis style. Leave!
Yes. It's not that he wants you to leave, it's just that's the question that was asked, that's the answer you're given.
It's efficient.
Yes.
Cold, calculated, and efficient.
Yes.
It's fine.
Actually, yeah, the rest can be left until after. So, yeah, we will now go back to where we left off. Yes, outside the tent now, washing his hands in a sort of bucket that just has some soap by it. Now that the person they're talking to is leaving, seems to be a figure that is hauntingly familiar, especially to Corvus.
Corvus, you didn't tell me that all Hexenreich doctors are so attractive.
Are you related? Looks like he could be your son. Did you have an illegitimate child?
You have to
Can we stop poking fun at this?
What?
He starts
He starts what?
approaching the doctor wash basin.
I'm following because I'm still holding my medical supplies. I'm
Okay.
helping.
Right.
Passes with them.
So with the group following behind you,
What
you-
is he like? Is he like an angry cousin figure? What is it?
actually,
You don't talk about your family much.
actually, for those that come from Tarnstead, I would like knowledge rolls just straight in.
Mm, mm.
Am I
You-
included in this?
Yeah.
You chose poorly what stat you want me to roll.
No, I think it's a pretty accurate stat.
No.
Corvus, you don't have to roll to remember if you've
Yeah.
heard your father's name or not.
Oh, come on. It took me how many years before my dad's first name?
Just straight intelligence?
Straight intelligence. No advantage, I think, for you, right?
Yeah, 6.
Now,
I'm on par for my rolls.
I mean, I'll be honest. I kind of had one house I had to
he
watch.
didn't. I don't know. Yeah, well done, Tilda. Now, he didn't get out all that much, and Corvus was very busy with his duties, so it's not a wonder that some would have missed it. But for those that actually hung around the town centres a lot more, aka the tavern,
Sure.
you've heard the name Aldo before, specifically in regards to the ailing father that Corvus was taking care of within Tarnstead. And it is starting to dawn on you that something is a bit off here with a man sharing that name and looking oh so similar. Corvus
And looks
himself.
entirely genuinely confused at why Corvus is mad, just so Corvus knows. Gifton has no clue what this is.
I'm not sure Tilde's ever heard Corvus's dad's name,
I
so
don't think Corvus has ever said it around you guys.
Corvus
Otherwise,
hasn't
yeah.
talked about his dad at all.
Mhm.
It does
Other than
make
his
sense
father.
that I'm the only one that would make
Yeah.
the roll.
Yeah, it's kind of fitting.
I'm just going to why am I suddenly drawing a blank? I apologize. In Enochian towards Gifton real quick. Believe that is his father's name.
Oh, Gifton's saying in Baratheon because she doesn't play this game very good.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's his dad's and oh.
Corvus, are you wanting to march straight up to him?
Still not sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
Carrick is totally facepalming pretty much at this point.
You.
Still
Question
not sure.
I have.
Uh huh.
Obviously, just hearing the name, especially because he's originally been referred to as Aldo Ganat,
Mhm.
I wouldn't be able to make any connection from that. Now that they've said Corvus's dad, and I understand the language.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a straight intelligence roll for Aldo Adalas.
Yep.
Aldo Adalas was a discredited researcher that was branded as treasonous a bit before your time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I figured it's like I figured the name would come up somewhere
Yeah.
in X-Rankin researcher circles.
And it's to the point where, like, he was branded as treasonous, and it was made quite a affair within, like, the Central City circles, which would not be surprising why he'd perhaps go by a different name amongst,
Mhm.
Hexenreichers. But Corvus, you basically walked up nearly directly behind him, to the point where when he sort of stands up from washing his hands, he turns and comes face to face with you. There is a...
No, go ahead.
There is a look of sudden shock on his face. A little bit of fear, you see, flicker across his eyes. And then his eyes are scanning over you.
Corvus will reach out with his hand,
Done.
clasp either around the shoulder or the neck, and continue pushing.
Okay. You want to continue pushing?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and give me a strength check then. Okay, this shocked man seems to hold fast. You push against his shoulder. One of his hands just sort of comes out and rather,
Corvus, what the hell are you doing?
rather
Who are
gently
you?
rests on your forearm. It's me. Which one are you?
Ah!
Gibson is actually going to go and try and get between the two of them.
As you try and move between them, Aldo's actually going to try and embrace Corvus.
Stop! No! God!
Calm down. And Gibson's going to be, and Hexenreich, friendly. Strange man doesn't know. And then Corvus, calm down, and Veracian.
Corvus, what?
I don't know what language they're speaking.
Why are you
He's
here?
speaking Baratheon to Corvus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a long story. Please, son, calm down.
He raises his hand, shakingly pointing a finger, like, I don't. This. No.
Look, I don't know what was happening, but it's okay.
Why is everything I am so far behind on?
I understand little myself, but
Everything that I have done has always been in the wake of someone else. And now this, of all things, this! He very weakly clenches his fist, bangs on the shoulder of Aldo. Oh, thanks. Why? I can't do this anymore. I just can't do this.
Aldo's actually looking concerned to the rest of you. And once again, he's actually going to try and sort of gently urge you in closer to him, Corvus.
Corvus is pretty much defeated at this point.
Corvus, please. He seems as confused as you are. Maybe you both can put the pieces together. Okay?
There's no pieces to be put together. The
There
puzzle's
are pieces.
already been made, and I'm looking at the results.
Could you stop breaking apart for a moment and just give your dad a hug? He looks happy to see you, and I know you're happy to see him. I'm sorry, he thought you were dead. We found your dead body, and he.
I'm aware he would think I'm dead. He sort of like just gently puts a hand up on your shoulder, Corvus.
There was like another Corvus, and
I know.
Oh.
Why don't you come inside? Sit down and talk. You can introduce me to your friends. Please.
I mean, come on, Corvus. We came here to help out the hospital anyway. It's a good time to do this.
Introduce yourselves. Corvus tries to break away.
He'll sort of let you go, but you can tell there's a little reluctance in the release of his grip.
Tell him everything. Just be done with it. Gotta. No. And he just kind of continues walking.
There is a look of pained resignation on Aldo's face as Corvus walks off. He does not move to follow him. His hands just drop to his side, and his head lowers a little bit.
I'm gonna put a hand on the strange man's shoulder and give it a gentle squeeze.
Perhaps someone should go with him. One that he does not hate.
When Tilde says that, you see Odo like clench his eyes shut.
Cass looks at Tilde. I don't think that person exists.
Shax will sigh and go, I will go after him. And Shax is just going to go.
I'm gonna no Shax. I'll do it. I'll go after. I'll go
No,
after first.
Gifton let Shax go do it because honestly,
I mean, he does hate me a bit lately.
yeah. I think he hates all of us right now.
Yeah.
Thank you. He would likely take a swing at me.
He's got some anger issues at the moment.
I know. Put a bullet in me.
Wait,
What?
Out of character, did he? Did he just put a bullet in me?
I was
Mhm.
literally
He
going,
did in
what?
character.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that out of character
And
before he responded in character.
yeah, Odo just says that with a sort of sad resignation.
He tried to shoot my brother recently.
I was wondering if it was the same one. There were
Hmm,
There were 3.
I don't
That
think
died
he was
recently.
the one that to you.
No,
There
he's
was
been with
4
us.
that died recently.
I thought there were 3.
There were 3 in the suits, and
Out of
then
character.
Oh,
they,
there were 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There were 4. Okay. Yeah, there were
He buried
4,
3 'cause
4
Jackson
that
melted them.
4 that we know of. They attacked us at one point.
and the fact that he didn't know you were alive is pretty point. He was not that shot you.
Yeah. You're looking really good compared to the last time we saw you.
Out of character. Actually, question to the GM.
Mhm.
I know I recognize the name. What is the chance that in the many dealings of being a gopher and stuff that I actually saw him? Or do you want like a
you
chance
took
roll
him.
on
You,
that?
you took him out a few times, I'm sure, to get him fresh air and such, Corvus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I probably
You've probably seen him. Yes. It's a
And
very
he looks-
rare glimpses, though.
I'm guessing he looks a lot, if I remember correctly, younger now.
Usually
a
when-
lot younger.
Usually when there's not a lot of activity in the town, so
Yeah.
probably early in the day
Mhm.
or late.
Yes, you do seem to look quite a bit younger than I remember you back.
I'm sorry, we're being really rude. This is Cassiopeia Steelshod. She was a carpenter from Tarnstead.
That's what
This is Carrick Marsk. You might have known the tavern. He was the kind of lad that ran the tavern stuff.
Vagueness. I will apologize. My memories of that time are a nightmarish jumble.
That's fine. This
It's
is Telde. He is a lieutenant of the Barassian army. I believe that you're a lieutenant. I don't remember. I don't know what your officer rank
I was
is.
just saying, I don't know if we've actually ever been told what he was.
I know he has a rank. I just don't
Yeah.
know what it is. I'm saying Telde's rank because as a general, I must acknowledge this.
I was really just hoping you'd say I'm a general now. You know.
Yeah.
I have field promoted you.
You're
You
a
can technically
general,
promote him.
Yeah,
Okay.
field promotion is a thing.
All right, you're a lieutenant now. No matter what, you're a lieutenant now. So that's
Tilda,
the
you just
thing.
got demoted. You actually promoted to a higher rank when you returned from your.
Well, Gifton doesn't know any better. Enjoy your pay cut. Then Shay's gonna go. The Dragonborn that just left with your son, that was Shatskan Roxala. He is a researcher formerly from Hexenreich, and I'm Gifton Greysteel. We're part of the Barass contingent that's here trying to help the refugees and some other stuff.
I'm Aldo.
Your son, Lewis, he's okay.
Thank you. That's
We found him in a prison. He'd been taken here, and he's been reunited with your grandson in Dolvewood.
At the mention of prison here, there is a look of devastation that crosses his face. You see, he's one of his hands sort of goes up to clutch at his checking. Oh no.
He's being cared for there. We can see about getting you evacuated out to Rast, if that's your interest.
He actually looks like he genuinely wants to go with you. You see that consideration crossing his face, and then he looks to the tent that he's standing outside. Lewis, how is he doing now?
He's doing better. He's been in a Hexenreich jail being interrogated for some years. His wife died during that time, and your grandson was in an orphanage when we found him. Corvus didn't know who he was.
His hand actually goes up to cover his eyes.
One of our others that was in our group adopted him at the time, and then we found out about Lewis and everything there. He's currently in the care of some kind lords and ladies we know in Dolfwood. He's a lord in his own right now. He took on the lordship of our friend who passed away. So he's a little Lord Adderlass over there now.
His hand moves down from his eyes, feeling the tears that are there, and just settles over his mouth as he's trying to contain himself for a second.
Gifton's gonna give him a hug.
Uh,
It's okay. It's a lot. Do you want to go in? We'll sit down. We're here to help. We brought medical supplies. I can cast good berries. I've been giving them to the people at the infirmary to hand out. It's just we can cast. Some of us are capable. Do you mind if we use magic? Because
I don't mind at all.
okay, because just so you know, Corvus has a massive aversion to magic, like passionate anger towards it, and he does not tolerate it very well.
That might be somewhat my fault. I always told him as a child not to show any signs of it if he ever.
He blames magic for taking you away from him.
You're aware of what has happened to me, then?
He told me about what happened to your mind. And we all kind of knew that Purvis was taking care of his dad at his house in Tarnstead.
A prudent measure to deal with someone that knows too much and, well...
Tracking down the people that did that to you has been his greatest passion above anything else. It's hard to keep him on things that are positive.
That's not what I would have wanted for him.
He only has desired to ruin those people and their lives. And I have been trying to steer him to caring for Lewis and your grandson and work on a future rather than chasing the past. But he's...
I was a burden to him in life and even in death, it seems. Please come in. I have...
No, please don't take this on yourself.
I'm his father. What happens to him is my responsibility, and I have failed in that. But,
well, there's still time.
You have healing magic. Come in. And he seems to be ignoring the continuation of the conversation, very deliberately pushing it aside.
I have a ring of regeneration on me too. If we want to start sliding that onto anybody's lost limbs.
And he as he walks in, he'll explain. The recovery from the spell work on me took time even after my resurrection. I have still not managed to remaster my own magics yet, but I have a couple of patients with a heavy fever. There is a nasty infection in the boy here. If you could help with that.
Yeah. Yep. Gifton will go over and start doing that.
And he will direct you, and it's mid-level healing magic for you guys. You know, it's not actually complicated work, but he directs you all the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I'll just pull off some spell slots for lesser restoration because I'm assuming that's mostly what I'm casting.
Yeah, and it's this work that seems to let him compose himself a little. He sort of loses himself in it. It's a kind of focus that is strikingly familiar once again. You can only pursue the work. If most of you that can do such spell work are willing to give it up, you can actually see most of the patients in here into good condition.
Yep. I can drop easily 6 lesser restos before I'm needing to do anything extra.
Okay.
So I'll drop 6.
I will say between the two of you, if you're willing to do, I say 7 lesser restorations and like 7, 8 like cure wound level spells, you can see most of the patients in here into very good health.
If I burn a mass cure wounds,
that will count. Yes, that will count for a bunch.
I could also do mass cure wounds if that would cover faster.
If both of you want to do that once, I will let that deal with a lot of the stuff in this tent.
All right, I'll do that once as well. So we'll do that.
Okay.
All right, and yeah, I can burn all my seconds.
I want to save what I can for making good berries, but I think they need them less now.
Yes,
nutrition
would help, but it's not. They've been actually fed decently here. You know, this was a priority.
Faramir's getting food supplies in now, so they don't need me to do it to help the population as much. But I offer that I can cast. I'll cast 2 good sets of good berries, so we can give them, like, people that are having trouble eating. We can give them some berries to give them some nutrition.
Okay.
So I'll do that. So I can make about 20 good berries, and that's got a hit point that'll heal each. So.
Okay, you
hand it out for other people to hand out.
As for Ring of Regeneration, there are 3 people in here that are outright missing limbs. There's the young boy, one with the nasty infection. He's actually missing his arm below, just below his shoulder, and it is a very recent wound. It looks like. There's also a missing leg, and someone that is just missing a few fingers from their hand.
The person that's missing a few fingers from their hand, we'll put the Ring of Regeneration on them. The other 2, I will burn 2 spells, and I will regenerate both of them.
Okay.
I'll do it personally.
Okay. You are seen as quite the miracle worker. And you...
This just is over going,
And you do get a profuse amount of, thanks, and very genuine, tearful thanks. To the point where after that sort of calm down, Aldo will ask you to wait for a moment while he just, he sends a couple of helpers off to essentially get the boy's mother and so on,
because he can actually go out now, probably.
And in short order, some of the patients are moved out, and the rest are just left here to recuperate all the same.
That's the only places there's probably beds for them to still rest, because there's some things magic can't do.
And Aldo, sort of with a somewhat tired but genuine smile on his face, will actually just open up a sort of connecting tent flap. It's like one tent structure, but it's got a divide in it, and we'll just sort of beckon you all through.
Carrick will go through.
And in there he's got basically a desk that is just a it's a box with like a piece of wood board set on top of it, and he sort of motions about and goes, "I'm sorry, there's a couple of stools, some crates. Make yourselves as comfortable as you can."
Fine.
No problem whatsoever. Carrick's just gonna take a seat on a stool or anything he can find.
And
If I were to get permission from the people in Furamir and I were to build some stone structures out here, something a little bit more together, would you have any input on something you'd want for a hospital?
solid building would be a lot more help in general. I'm not by nature a doctor. Most of my research was that sort of idle shrug, academic in nature, but it saw me well enough. Yeah.
But you could do with a stone structure though, something that's not the wind blowing through while you're working.
There is a look of guilt in his face as he sort of looks down and he just goes, I want to go home to my boy.
And you should. I will see about getting permission to get you through the circle. Or if they'll let me take you through a tree.
You think Corvus would come with me?
Yes. He would. I don't think he'd stay, though. We have things to do. I'm sad to say we need your son here.
I left here to keep them out of any messiness. What has happened to him?
Gifton's got a struggled look on her face. I do not know if it's for me to say.
Yes, I'm sorry.
He had to fight himself and see himself die. And that has put who he is in question. He doesn't even know who he is anymore. He questions it often because the Corvus that killed you did not recognize him as himself.
Can you can you tell him that I am so sorry for anything I have done to...
You didn't do this to him.
I did. I was not there.
You didn't do this to him. He has gone down his own road, chasing his own things. He has in his heart a need to change the world in a very abrupt way. And it cannot all be seated in your hands. He doesn't like people in nobility, people in power. He doesn't like people with magic. He doesn't like people who make decisions. He doesn't trust anyone. And he is willing to do a lot of things to see his goals through. And his goals are, as he says, his own. He has run beings of greater power have influenced your son. And he takes offense to that. Even if they're trying to help.
He always was a prideful boy.
He doesn't want help. He wants to be the one that solves his own problems. And he's taking our problems up as his problems, and This whole mess with Morgani is a real problem. There is a first dragon. I'm sure you're familiar with the old fairy tale of the first dragons of Morgani.
Yes, of course.
There is one that is... Corvus saw it land and destroyed Olvwood. He traveled in that strange way. He'll ramble to you about the gentleman, that group that
I'm familiar with that group.
they travel the Angel Graveyard, the Empty. Corvus got turned around in there, lost, and he traveled forward in time, and he saw Dolvwood decimated to the ground, and he saw a note from himself with the time and the day that Dolvwood would explode, and he's been chasing ghosts and shadows of that ever since, and I don't think it has been good for him.
My boy has achieved great things and paid for it.
Yeah.
It's a familiar family story.
He knows that he is integral in saving the world basically right now, and he has to stick it out or try. I think he's really afraid he's gonna fail, and he's afraid that the things he's putting his energy towards are the wrong things, and
none should have to bear such pressure. Never mind alone.
he doesn't listen to my counsel as much anymore. He tried to shoot my brother the other week because he was telling him he was a good man. So he's very stressed.
May I ask where you are staying?
Was that where we are staying?
Yeah,
or
where you are
we-
staying.
We're in the... Furamir's keeping us in their walls right now. Visiting General. I'm gonna tug on the uniform.
Do you think you could get permission for me to come in?
Yes, I will ask. I will definitely ask. I can put in for that. I look over at Carrick. I think that would be
do
good
everything
for...
in our power to get you allowed in.
I will give him some time. I imagine it is a shock to see me, but I have to talk to him. I have to save my boy from this cruelty he's inflicting on himself.
I think that would be good. It would. I look over at Selde. It would be more than we can do.
Nod.
I have failed much as a father, but I cannot fail at this as well. It will take me some time to make sure things are left in good order here.
Do you want any of us to stay to help? I mean, we can...
He shakes his head a little too quickly, and you can see him sort of trying to keep himself composed. No, he can handle this.
I understand you want some time alone. It is good to meet you.
What is my grandchild's name?
Albrecht.
Albrecht Adderlast, sir. He is.
That was my father.
Brilliant mind. He is writing papers that are being read in Winden. As a small little boy.
There is that sort of smile from someone seeing a little glimmer in a sadness. And you just see his hands come up to his heart again. It is wonderful.
He would read books with me when we were riding on the boat together. We were learning to be doctor together. Under Corvus, he was teaching us how to care for the wounded. He's a very, very bright young man.
This is marvelous.
He has many tutors that are very much wanting me to stay away from him because I'm a huge distraction.
Fräulein, you seem to be a wonderful influence.
All right, well, we won't be far. Shaxon, I'm gonna hand you my link. Hold up my link pearl. If I give this to him, will it work?
Nope.
I'm gonna hand this. Or Shaxon's not there. Fuck. Never mind.
Yeah,
Literally, send the message to Shaq using it.
All right, I'm gonna hold up the pearl. Hey, Shaxon, if I hand this pearl off to somebody else, does it still work?
As he's either
Corvus.
got up to Corvus or he just goes about it. It does not, unfortunately. They are tuned to specific people. It's the problem they had with the one in the Stenhouse.
I'm
pretty sure that this is a direct line.
I am not a far walk from the gates, and I will not be going anywhere too soon.
All right. Well, you come get us if you need anything, and
please
we'll see if we can.
Tell him I was not hiding from him. It has taken me a long time to get out of the mess that was my mind after awakening.
I can't imagine what you've been through being over here. Another time.
Yes.
I'm gonna give him a big hug.
And he'll just gently hug you, and it feels like an old man hug. It feels grandfatherly.
Mm-hmm. I'm just giving you a firm young lady hug.
Mm-hmm.
And because I know he can take it. He looks like he could.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna nod to the rest. Let's go see if we can find that mysterious general or something, I guess. Or I don't know, maybe I'll go throw myself into the Fae.
Well,
I don't know.
Why don't we
ask a quick question? You are looking for a general.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
There is
one here.
Is self-appointed general, Captain Costner.
Captain Costner. This is his first
name. Kevin? No.
I was pretty sure he was a mailman.
No, it's Kavan.
I've not met the man myself, but there is talk going around of him, and
I am here as a representative of Barast, even if they technically didn't send me to do that. So I'm kind of doing a bit between. We're trying to bring aid over here as much as we're able.
If you are looking for him, he'll just sort of point fading in the direction. You wander towards the edges of the camp. You will come across the military remnants.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And he's going to give you all of you a sort of very polite upper body bow.
I'm going to return the bow to him.
I'm going to give him a courtesy.
Okay.
We will see you soon, Mr. Adderless.
Mr. Gannat, around here, please.
Mr. Gannat. Yes. We'll see you soon, Mr. Gannat. I say this. And
was it Cass?
What was that?
Cass is like, isn't that like a potato pasta or something?
No.
Is Kanaki a thing?
No. All right, moving over to Corvus, heading away rapidly. Do you have any goal or sight in mind, Corvus, or are you just fleeing?
He's fleeing, and then he will get overcome and retch, and beside some sort of camp furniture, crate, barrel, and then just slump himself to that barrel, stare off.
Okay. Shaxon, you quickly catch up with Corvus, who has his back to a water barrel right now, just sort of sitting in the muddy, air quote, street. Churned up mud path here.
Are you okay? Corvus?
Am I okay? Let's go
I mean,
through the past.
I mean, in the physical sense, Corvus, not in the mental, because that is a very large barrel to be unpacking at that point in time.
Yes, I am fine. You still have your Corvus kicking around.
You should talk to the man, Corvus. You don't know that what happened with him has anything to do with the other you.
I don't know if you.
Kinda,
No, I don't know if you remember, but I rose Corvus. I rose Mind Father. You were there for that.
you animated the corpse. That is far different from anything involving resurrection magic.
Yes. And I brought it to myself to be an emotional tug, so maybe we could have an advantage in killing myself. And it worked. But he said something. He said something that I was confused at the time. No, I fixed this. Or why is this happening? Or something. Look what he's fixed.
And how do you know he had anything to do with him being alive again?
Who else would have done that? Of all the things that I thought about, tried to do to fix problems that led to the failing of my father.
I ask you this.
To get some sort of recompense for what had happened to him. What I had to endure for years. And I can't even do that now.
You said the father, when you ran away from Tarnstead, was killed by Goliath, yes?
He died a long time ago.
The body that you used to resurrect, to animate, was originally attacked by a Goliath, yes?
Yes.
Did that Goliath have a gun? Because the corpse you raised had a bullet in the back of its head going through. Does that not seem odd to you? That the man who died by a Goliath had a bullet in his head?
Thought at the time that maybe I may have done something and it failed, and that was the recourse of that. I did not think that it was some sort of means to doing whatever's back there.
Why don't you go ask him what happened? At least gain closure and understand what happened, Cole. Instead of going off of a... Does he seem like the same man you knew?
I was 6 when it all fell apart. I barely remember who he was. Just the ideal envision of what he was. I don't know my father, but what a 6-year-old would see, a hero.
Then don't greet him as your father, then. Greet him as a man who's a fellow practitioner of the mundane medical art, of the non-magical medical art. See if there's anything he can teach you. You can teach him. That was your passion, correct?
It's just a facade.
How do you know that? You gave him, I'd say, somewhere in the market of 1.5 minutes to make an impression on you as he is now.
No, I'm a facade, not him. He's actually doing stuff. I'm here.
And why not see how you can help to make it so you are doing things as well? rather than being angry at everyone and everything, Corvus. This is not a way to live.
To look around, Saxon. I'm a key to a world-ending event. How can you reconcile that? How can any of you continue on with the knowledge that was given to us just a few short weeks ago? And yeah, you have to go forward. You have to maintain a sense of a normality. But if everything is just falling apart at this point, and I have to hold that and not give in to whatever Echo is, and then everything that I have done, everything that I would have done is meaningless and pointless to all of this. These people here.
Everything is pointless, Corvus. Everything is pointless unless you assign a worth to it.
I am a walking hypocrite. I hate everything that I am doing. I hate everything that we are doing. But I still continue because it's the only thing that I know how to do. And even when I try to do that, I look at myself and there's nothing.
Look at yourself harshly because you feel there is no worth in that because you have seen what you came from.
I've seen what I wanted to do. And it failed. I was the cast out. I was the burden.
He did not get to make that decision on what you were. The dreamer created a second you, and he chose to go deeper down his own dark path. He forsook the people he cared for. He forsook everything he could have and did care for, Corvus. At the end of everything, he was the template of what you should not strive to be. He was every dark decision, every dark day that you could have given form. Stop trying to live in that darkness. Come see the dawn for once. You might find you enjoy it a bit more. Don't you have any curiosity as to finding out what this man who seems to be your father may have gone through? Maybe that he might have a different view on what occurred. He might be able to fill in gaps probably you do not have. And I know there is a book that you have been working from tirelessly of his that he might be able to either give you advice on or who knows. Yes?
I know that you're placating me.
I am talking to you as my friend, Corvus. You should know by now I do not bother mincing words with most people here.
Just one domino after another with me.
It's like that for everyone. That is how life works.
Though you seem to all be holding up your dominoes just fine.
Really? I've been watching my homeland be set further and further back. I have parents who told me to my face that they wish that I was the one who died instead of my brother who they cared about. I didn't. The only person in this portion of my family who I gave a damn about, my sister, is gone. My only goal right now is to stop everything from being destroyed and to rebuild my homeland, hopefully to make it something we could actually be proud of instead of the horrible, terrible bigots and warmongers that we were. Everyone is suffering, Corvus. People just put on a brave face and keep going forward.
He will slowly stand up.
Jaxwell, as he's standing up, just offers his hand to help him.
He will just weakly take it, stand up on his own, though.
Hmm. And does he have any vomit or anything like that down the front of his suit or anything?
Probably.
Mostly retched off to the side, so didn't get too much on himself. He's incredibly muddy now.
Yeah, Jax will press him clean of that. It's the little things for a parent's, Corvus. And besides, I think you can appreciate that most doctors would not want people trekking mud into their work area, correct?
Again, you have a way with words that is nice, but also very aggravating.
Jackson, he shot the last person that was nice to him. Using your twisted words.
Corvus, as you're standing there with Shaxton, him helping you up, wandering on by is a really sort of, hunched over old Hexenreich woman. She's got a shawl on and everything. Just sort of looks up to you through squinty eyes, and essentially in a really sort of thick Hexenreich country dialect, tells you the equivalent of "cheer up, Sonny. It won't last forever." And then continues sort of wandering on her way.
This is just the.
Oh, come on, sweetheart. Give us a smile.
A smile better suits an adventurer. I'll hurt you.
Vile.
Come on. Jax will pat him on the back and encourage him a bit back the way they came.
Okay.
He'll follow.
Okay. Right. In that case, it's not long after the group leaves the tent, leaving Aldo, like going down the sort of muddy path towards the military section. You do come into encounter Corvus and Shaxton coming the other way.
Okay, so we encounter them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wave them over. Hey.
Hello there.
We mostly cleared that out. So,
I was just bringing Corvus back to have a chat with his dad.
Okay. Corvus, I'm gonna do everything I can to get your dad either through the circle or inside with us. Okay. We're gonna keep him safe. I'm gonna reach out like I want to put a hand on your forearm or your upper arm and be like comfort, but I'm gonna pull back on purpose because I know Corvus doesn't like it when I give him physical attention.
He just has a blank stare at you. He doesn't try to flinch or move.
I told him about Lewis and we told him about Albrecht.
He will softly nod at that. It's good.
He told us there's a Captain Kevin Costner over here that we're
not the Kevin Pot. Jackson.
Yeah.
My dear lizard folk, your blood runs cold. hearing that name.
Weird lizard folk?
Yeah, Dragon Ball basically just big lizard folk.
Yeah.
Wow, the racism all the way out of the character.
Shaxton, upon hearing Captain Costner, your blood runs cold for a moment. But maybe it's not him. Maybe it's
he is cold-blooded.
a different Costner.
There is
He
a
is
moment that
apparently
his face changes, and he's not good at hiding.
they're apparently the self-appointed general that's leading the military encampment here. So, gonna go over there and make friendly.
Please
your dad-
explain what is coming across Jackson's face.
It is one of the few times you'll see that character will pick up on there is an anger there.
Gifton looks scared. Okay. I'll be less friendly. I'm sorry.
Shax will again attempt to hide it, but just go. They'll do a strong breathing. Go. Sorry, bad memories of someone with a similar name.
Okay. Well, anyway, your dad was trying to get his stuff together. He should be at the infirmary still. He's got a little tent kind of attached. He wants to do good by you, Corvus. He loves you. Kind of start moving off in the direction that I'm gonna go because Gifton knows that her touchy-feely doesn't always work on Corvus, and he probably absolutely doesn't want it right now. He's got that look of I'm not really listening to Gifton, except for
pretty much. I'm just staring in the corner of my desk right here.
Wow,
That's in the middle of
real
the
hard there, man.
Where'd you
I'm
get
not
the desk
looking
in
at
the middle
Gifton.
of the
I'm a method actor. What do you expect?
Well, Gifton's gonna kind of give a sad look, like
Want to help.
wants to help, and she has that hand reaches out like air pat, and then kind of slumps and starts walking off in the direction of the military encampment.
Shax will actually
Just say a
As
quiet prayer to Lalasil, please guide misguided sons and fathers. Sorry, what was Jack
Shax
saying?
will go to Corvus as they're starting to walk away and go, would you like me to stay with you, or would you rather have the time with
Didn't look like you were too particular about seeing that person. So you're welcome to come if you want.
If I'm being honest, I think I have to see it too, if it is him or not. Sadly. Some old problem.
To say another domino makes sense.
You said that he's going to join us later.
Gifton said that she's going to do everything she can to get him with us, or get him.
Let's go see this self-appointed general. We'll deal with that after I have more time to think.
Anyway. Jackson, Corvus, join back up with the group.
Okay. They catch up back up with you readily enough. You didn't go far.
I'm gonna quietly aside to tell Day. See, I knew they wouldn't trust me to talk to somebody important.
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, I thought we didn't trust me on these occasions.
You are the prime diplomat within this group.
The bad decision maker, though.
I don't know if any of us are tremendously great makers.
I think it's because I make the most decisions. Doesn't mean I have a good track record.
Well, you have not killed your entire group.
I'm glad that you are very careful in your words.
As you're talking with each other, after a little, you see, there's a different change in the atmosphere as you're moving here. There's people just sort of milling about, and soon enough there's a sort of break in crowds in general. There's actually a clear sort of line of divide the way these tents are laid out. And yeah, this does look like a efficiently set up military camp.
Any sign of Keller?
Any sign of Keller here? Not that you, not that you immediately see. It's moving in that you're actually stopped by a couple of Hexenreich soldiers whose uniforms are very disheveled at this point, but they're sort of disheveled where they're trying to keep it up appearances, but just wear and tear. And they have rifles. I'll ask for some investigation checks from people.
Gifton is approaching them and waving her hand slightly, saying friendly in Hexenreich and pointing itself and saying Barast.
I will speak up. It's just that we are looking for the general.
Yeah,
just phrase it as such.
Shaxon, Carrick, just by the way bolts drawn back on one, you see like the heavy denting of the cartridge on the other. You think these rifles probably don't actually have any ammo in them. But as you approach, Gifton doing her wave and Telde making a bit more of an official declaration. I
am putting that little tiara on that lets me comprehend languages, but I can't speak for shit.
One of the soldiers will sort of look at the group of you in more confusion.
They are part of the Barassian relief force that has recently come to Hexenreich to collect refugees. Our ship arrived a few days earlier. We have contingents of military personnel as well as a few remaining refugees.
I'm going to thumb jab at myself and say General Greysteel.
She is our commanding officer in this regard.
One of the soldiers is looking at the group of you, and especially you, Gifton, with a sort of barely disguised disgust, while the other is just sort of nodding slowly. You will have to wait here. You will go get the general.
Of course. Thank you.
And he sort of turns and walks off, leaving you with the rudely staring one.
I'm just.
Let's just go straighten her uniform because mine looks better than theirs.
If anything, that just causes that look to become a bit more hateful.
Carrick should make the comment of maybe not collect refugees. That kind of sounds like we're stealing them. Help refugees. Yes, rescue. That's a good one too. I'm gonna actually. Obviously, he's human because it's basically everything.
Wow!
Wow!
I
Thanks.
mean,
That's the only human in this party.
You're our token human.
I mean, technically, it looks like there's two. It looks like there's two in this party right now.
What are you doing?
Right. I look human. Just human in armor.
Like big guy. Small guy.
He looks like a big guy that has not eaten well recently. Yeah, okay. It is that big guy that is losing mass. Look.
Okay. Unfortunately, don't know enough about Hexenreich to actually try to just do friendly small talk.
How about that bratwurst?
I'm just gonna talk in front of the guy in Barassian and go, maybe we should have just been looking for Keller and them and just talk to them to get this figured out.
Though the worst part is the first thing that came to my mind as soon as I said that was, how about them dragons?
Yeah. Do you know a local sports team?
Who was the highest charisma of this party again?
I mean, what about Sergeant Beck? We could have talked to Sergeant. Where's Sergeant Beck been? Did he go into the refugee camp? He went to the refugee camp, right?
He
was on the airship, but I thought he went to he went with the refugees when Keller and them went. I wasn't sure.
He went with the refugees, but you don't know if it's he didn't actually make any notions about going to this place. Keller said that he'd talked to this slot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they talked to him and they pointedly seemed to be giving him the cold shoulder and everything.
Mm-hmm.
you're sort of talking with each other for a minute, talking about where Keller is, where Beck is, when returning with the guard and a couple of extras sort of walking behind him, comes another Hexenreich officer who has a general's jacket on. It's a little ill-fitting, but it's clearly been attempted to be fixed. He's a little bit cleaner than his men, but not to the extent that he looks clean. Jackson, you immediately recognize him. There's been some changes over the years. His hair has gone grey. There is now a rather severe sort of burn on the left side of his face that it doesn't look recent, but it's a wound that has remained, scarred. It's missing the eye on that. Well, not missing it. It's basically pale white on that side of his face. But he sort of comes marching along, looking. He's not sneering anything. He just looks composed, official. This is a matter I have to attend to. And looks like he's about to ask what's going on when his eyes do actually land on Jackson. And suddenly a sort of wide grin crosses his face, which, doesn't quite work on the heavily burned side of his face, but you can see that sort of slight movement. And he just goes, Jackson, as I live and breathe.
I kind of glass between the two.
Captain Costner.
Oh, you have very little to worry about, he says, sort of elbowing the soldier that went and got him. If Rotskala is with them, then we are in good company. Please, come in to the camp.
Make an insight check because of the look that was on Shax's face earlier.
Insight against who?
Costner.
Okay.
I'm actually going against
Jackson.
Jackson.
I'm going against.
Actually,
bad look earlier.
I'm gonna roll 2.
Okay.
First one will go against Costner. Second one will go against Shax.
Okay.
Yeah, mine's versus Costner there. I'd like to do one versus Shax as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I might know Shax better.
Yeah. Shaxton, if you want to try and disguise things, please go ahead and give me a deception.
I can tell you, no matter what I roll, the people who rolled against me, other than Cass,
doubt. But this is probably important for Costner himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty decent. But it does not get by the people that have come to know you well. Lowe's.
Yeah, Cass.
Cass is the only one here that doesn't really get by anything.
Of everything.
Cass is poorly removed from everything.
Just
here.
congratulating Shax
but
for being able to beat somebody.
Everybody else, this actually seems like a genuine reaction from Costner. Like, you immediately get the thing of, like, he is familiar with Shaxton and actually seems to hold him in some esteem.
Okay.
Reading Shaxton, Shaxton, tell me what your true feelings are here.
He
Hate
has
a gentle word, isn't it?
hate. There's a lot of hate in there. He's trying his best for the sake of the other people there to remain composed. There's no illusion that if he was the only person here, there'd be a very different response.
Okay.
Hell, if there's a couple left,
I'm gonna glance over. I'm gonna glance over at Shaxan, make a kind of a slight frown, and say, "Shaxan, straight up."
Shax will calmly roll his shoulders a bit, kind of unclench unclenched hands.
And I will nod. Then I will nod to this other general.
And with all those insights, you do not think that Costner has picked up on Shaxton's disdain here. He actually sort of waves away the guard that went and got him, and just sort of like motions for the other two to move
Gifton
aside.
Doesn't know what other people are picking up on, but she's basically going. She's acknowledging. Yes, Shax is unhappy, but we don't need to broadcast right now.
Please, come. I have some tea in my tent. You all drink tea? He's actually saying this in Barassian now.
I will nod.
Good.
Yes.
No milk, I'm afraid. So I hope you like it. I know how Baratheons like it. It's not like that. He sort of gestures with his hands, sort of dismissively to the idea.
Milk in their tea. I'm gonna look over at Carrick.
Actually, I
Most
guess
people in Baras.
I was going to say, actually, is this a thing? So
Yes.
we never actually really talked about this.
He is too spicy for
Most,
us.
most
Really?
do.
Is the guard that was giving us the dirty eye coming with, or is he staying behind?
Nope, he's staying behind and looks like he has like very hurriedly tried to compose himself. With his general reacting favorably to the group that he was previously sneering at.
Cass is going to lean back over herself, blow him a kiss, and wink, and then just trot off.
Gifton's gonna say softly in Baratheon, don't write checks, Cassie.
Does Cassie
Not
understand
writing
Hexenreich?
No.
Okay, you do not understand what he just said then.
Wait, so I may have missed it.
Anyone else that
already
wants to would have to roll a perception check to overhear him.
I guess I'm
Okay. Yeah.
trying to pay attention to what's going on, unfortunately, so...
20s and above, because this is a thing that it's barely like meant for Cass to be heard. Like this is under his breath. He basically just in a lot fouler words for those that actually know the Hexenreich language.
Before you say that, as Cass turns around, she's saying under her breath, "Pencil dick, little fucker."
He is basically equating to her to a disgusting half-breed horse, but it is a very foul selection of words that he's using.
Little beast baby.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no love lost between the two. She was trying to goad him.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're a horse person, not a goat person. Stop doing
Go.
Turn around looking at this man's mouth.
But yeah, you are quickly led into what is essentially, it's not quite a pavilion tent, but it's large compared to a lot of the tents around here. Looks like this is actually something the soldiers had themselves, rather than having been provided or such. You see, as you enter, the general actually motions out a few people that were already in here. Asks one of them to fetch in, tea for the lot of you, and basically just motions people to sit down. And here, like there is a lot elsewhere, it's not exactly lush. There's like some crates with like blankets on them. There's a couple of like folded canvas chairs and such, but it's not the Ritz in here. But it will have you sit down around a central table, which it doesn't seem like he's got himself a desk or anything here. It's just a sort of central table where he probably holds meetings.
I mean, it's not like hauling furniture was a thing that they would do.
And he motions for you to sit down with him. And at you, Shaxton, he actually motions you to come take a seat close.
There's a dagger, Sax. You know what to do. I would actually know what's up between you two, but it seems right.
Hey, it's a good thing that you don't have that gun that makes Corvus shoot people.
Jax is actually going to calmly look, and he is instead actually going to sit down beside Gifton.
Shaxton, you are not under any pomp or circumstance with me anymore. You removed yourself from my chain of command. To a best scout I ever had. I was heartbroken when he went into research, but I suppose they didn't good minds, and he had a fine one.
He has the finest.
Oh, indeed. Well, let's see. You are the Baratheon general I've been hearing about, yes?
Yes, General Greysteel, and I'll reach across and offer my hand.
And he reaches back and shakes it. General Costner.
Pleasure. How are your men holding up?
Well, as can be expected. These are hard times. But Hexenreich courage knows no bounds.
Of course. We have witnessed firsthand the heroism of some of your soldiers. We came with several of them on our airship. They were helping us scout and rescue refugees on the way here.
Yes, Kera has spoken very favorably of your actions. And I must thank you for the assistance you've lended.
And I would speak very heavily on behalf of Keller. He is one of the finest I've dealt with.
He's a good man. We have him helping right now, taking rations about to the civilians.
Yeah, we have been working with the government of Furamir. Barast is sending supplies through their teleportation circle, as we cannot permeate your magical protective field on your lands to bring anything direct.
There's actually a fake grimace on his face before he sort of looks around the grouping and goes, "You'll have to forgive me. I am not a diplomat. It is not in my nature to bandy words. So may I be frank?
Yes.
Why are you helping?"
I glance over at Shaxan and Corvus. I'll be honest, we came here as an adventuring group first. I got my commission as a general when we were already underway. We are here on more specific business concerning trying to stop the madness that is spreading of Morgani. It is affecting even our lands, and Morgani's first dragons will be landing not just here in Hexenreich. They will be landing all around the world.
Excuse me, you're speaking of fairy tales here.
I am speaking of things we are guaranteed to know are happening. We have already seen signs of a first dragon.
If you speak of the maddened ones, they are mad.
No, not the maddened ones.
No, I mean, the Eye of Morgani has disappeared from the sky, and the
high-level magic engaged upon us by our enemies, no doubt. He is not trying to hide the actual look of suspicion on his face.
It is not just here; it is everywhere.
She's telling the truth, Cost.
We are coming over here because we are concerned about what is happening to you is happening in our lands as well.
He leans back a little bit, but not too far because there's no backing to his chair.
If there are indeed outside enemies that are targeting the people of Hexenreich, it has spread through the people of Barast as well. And we are concerned.
So you think perhaps a common enemy?
Perhaps. And I'll be honest, I have friends that are from Hexenreich. I look over at Shax and I give a nod. And I care about them dearly. And I have seen such terrible things on the way here. I am pleading with my government to send what aid we can. So
you vouch for them? And he's actually looking at you at Shaxton as he's sort of nodding his head towards Gifton.
I do.
I will be honest once more. I would not be listening to this if it weren't for him. But if Shaxton says that you are to be trusted, and he's looking at you again, Shaxton, as if to confirm that, yeah, you actually mean trust them.
Yes, Shax gives a nod. I say they're to be trusted.
And then perhaps Brass is not responsible for this. Do you... Noran?
We are... I haven't heard anything of Noran. I know my government is on shaky terms with even having me here. Because Noran does not smile fondly on Hexenreich still, I believe, to this day.
Yes. No, they would not.
I have a quick out of character question to the GM, because I think I asked, but I can't remember. It's been a while. Did I was talking to our friend the ambassador, I can't remember if he had heard anything about anything happening involving the badness over there.
I'm not sure it came up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it did.
That.
Yeah.
I think all of this really kind of kicked off after talks with him.
He's nodding, and he just looks at Shaxton again and goes, "Yes, nasty business, that whole invasion." And Shaxton, you know he's saying that from the perspective of our losses. That's the nasty part of it.
At any rate, we are trying to make sure that the supplies and such are prepared. I am going to try in an upcoming meeting speak with the Council of Faramir to get permission, and I would be interested in your input as well, as the person organizing your defense of this camp. I say kind of in a curious way.
He nods a little bit and just goes,
I would offer to make stone structures. Some of us are very capable mages. Give something a little bit more defense in case trouble does come.
That would be most appreciated.
And I, of course, have to get it cleared with the people of Faramir, as they do not want me using my magic about. But I would also, make perhaps trench lines, things like that. We could work something out, but I would want you, of course, to be all right with me making such things for you.
I would appreciate such things, but yes, they are suspicious creatures, and he's actually looking towards the direction of Faramir with suspicion himself.
And I'm going to say it with a slight smile. To be fair, sir, and I'm going to say in Hexadric, primitive on this land, everyone's suspicious of me, so it's the same on all sides.
You cannot be held for he looks like he is actually very much struggling to find a way to phrase this.
I understand. I am doing what I can, and I am not a diplomat as well.
Yes, I am sure that you are very capable. Your country.
I would like to aid you in any way that I can that does not impose my interests or will upon you. I am bringing food and medicine, and as I said, I will ask if I can make structures.
You have my permission to assist us in structures, and if you would be willing to help us distribute food and supplies to the civilian populace, well, I'm sure it would be great steps towards a friendship between the reformed Hexenreich and Barast.
On the conversation of medicine, how fare your troops, their health and well-being? Do any of them need particular tending to, or just haven't had the chance to go see some of the medical?
Wounds and such we have taken care of. We have a couple of medics still. We sort ourselves, and now they are assisting where they can. Malnourishment is a little more severe of an issue. We have been prioritizing rationing outside of the camp.
I am able to provide the nutritional berries that help with that. I can try that magic.
Oh, you are a capable magic user yourself?
Yes.
He nods as if, like, I'm just hearing confirmation of what I've already been told. And he goes, well,
I believe I'm going to kind of give a slight smile. All of the men that should have come over with Keller's group should know that I am also capable of casting Windwalk. We were using it to scout ahead of our airship on the way here.
Well, such things would be much appreciated. Nature-based magics are a little rarer to find here. Not unheard of, but the arcane is preferred.
Yes, I kind of nod to Carrick and Jackson.
Is there any requests that you want to propose to the council beyond what we are trying to assist with?
Yes, certainly. And he's immediately a bit more attentive when you call us, hearing your accent and such. He sort of reaches out to shake your hand.
He will actually use his father's pseudonym.
Ah, Ergonat. You are a relation of Hardo's.
Yeah, yes.
He has been a prime spot for our medics to go assist. A good man. A lover?
A cousin.
Ah, of course. Oh,
the family thing. He stayed. Mine left.
Ah, you went away.
Yes.
Before the troubles.
Yes, quite some time.
Oh, I wish I could say welcome home in a happier circumstance, my friend.
It is still appreciative.
A second.
He
What are you
was
doing,
offering
Carrick?
aid in our very primitive town.
I was just saying.
You wanted to pick up the Hexanite?
I've been around the two of these two long
Yes.
enough. I'm pretty sure I can do that without
Yes,
a
if you wish to
problem.
speak like a native speaker, you very much can.
Yes, I'm not doing a whole lot of talking in general, but I figure when I do, that's going to be
As to requests, I have few small requests that I have struggled to make heard.
I think it would be good to pass it along.
As well as
he looks at Gifton.
Requests that I would hesitate to make heard, and he's actually looking back to you, Shaxton, and he goes, "Your friends are trustworthy to keep things between us."
They are.
And I expect, and he's looking around at all of you with the aid that you have provided my countrymen and Keller and so on, that you wish no ill will upon us. And I will tell you that we are in dire need of rearmament, ammunition.
That seemed to be a problem that Keller's Men was facing as well. We gave them what we could of our own stores. I can make requests that we be able to bring you some arms. Oh, I look over at Shaxan. You'll have to supply me with the round, what would be basically the best. But we will see what we can do. I had requested some of my own men to come over to help because I wasn't sure if they had defense for the refugee camp. And I don't think they are interested in sending anybody out here. So
we saw it prudent not to make the Vermeer type aware of our ill defenses. But we are down to our very last rounds. Only a few men have functioning weapons after the recent attacks, so...
when was the most recent attack?
Some 2 weeks ago, there was a small skirmish, and nothing we could not handle, and the Vermeerians, they lended aid adequately.
Is humanoids a word, or do we just use humans?
Humanoid would be a good word, yes.
Was it just humanoids in that attack, or did they include dragons and such too?
No dragons this time, thankfully. After what they did. I'm glad for that on many levels.
We had seen a much larger force when we were gathering the group with Keller. I'm sure he's informed you of that.
Yes. I am hoping it does not come this way, but he sort of looks around a bit and goes, "I'm preparing for the worst."
That is why I would like to also prepare for the worst. And I will say it is in Faramir's best interest to work with both of us. And it is in our best interest to work with them because they are preparing for an onslaught as well. They are afraid, I believe, also of that massive force coming. And I think that is something we all need to accept, that I say with a frown. Everyone mistrusts one another, but in the end, we're all in the same foxhole and the enemy's coming. So we should cover each other's backs, at least. It doesn't make sense to keep pushing each other apart right now.
With due respect, General, we are hardly in the same foxhole, as you say. They have a foxhole with walls of stone and no need for food, drink, sleep, and, well, I don't think they would object to having a host of fresh corpses on their lawn.
I know that they think none of you will come inside if they ask you. They don't want you to become the enemy.
I do not think it is us that they have to fear.
You always fear those that you don't understand, too.
But you fear them, they fear you, and you are both fearing this oncoming group. You understand, in my point of view, you're all crazy.
He actually leans forwards on the table because they are the walking dead.
Gifton just looks at him like this is a very passive thing. And they aren't trying to kill you.
He sort of looks a little annoyed for a moment before going.
I have been nearly killed by more living Hexenreichers in the last few years than I have by dead ones. If they would protect you, because they were you one point. They're not remorseless, soulless creatures. I can tell you, their souls are very much intact. They give a shit about what happens to you.
We will see. I will not turn away their aid.
What I'm saying is maybe we make this better. We work on some trust. We get them to let us build out here. We get them to let us bring ammunition. In recompense, some of theirs come help patrol.
You want the dead walking amongst us?
I want you walking among the dead.
You get us armament. I will consider.
Because I will be honest, that is what I did with Keller. Because he had to trust a bunch of handwave primitives on a ship when he was worried about his people. We went out with him. We are willing to put our lives at stake. I'm willing to put my life and my people's lives at stake out here with you.
I do not question your motives. I question your trust.
It's not the first time I've heard that one. But at this point, what do we have to lose?
The last hope of Hexenreich.
No, there's always hope. Trust me. And again, they're letting us use the teleportation circle. If we can get some people to Barast, and we will bring them back. It is not forever. It is only to make sure that there's a chance for tomorrow. And also the women and children, they shouldn't be put through this. Those that do not wish to fight, we should get them off the battle lines.
I trust you on this. Barast and Hexenreich, well, you might be primitive. And he says that with a sort of like acknowledging, like, self-humoring thing.
Yes.
You have had good relations enough with us. I do not think you were to betray things, and especially not the way you are helping.
And I will do what I can with them.
I would feel a lot more comfortable if we had arms and fortification to fall back on if they decide to turn.
I will push so hard for that fortification, and we will do what we can about the arms. I know that they probably have the same concern that if you have guns and weapons, that you might just as well turn on them. But you're also just as worried because they're basically sitting there with everything in their hands and you with nothing and being asked to trust them. And that's not fair either. And that's what I'm going to tell them. The only way forward is we both have to make a conscious decision to move forward. So I'm going to ask them for that. And you're going to, I hope, take into deep consideration that we let those people come out here and help you defend.
He nods slowly before sort of like waving his hand, just going, forgive me, I am normally a more cheerful person. No. And he looks at you, Shaxton, smiling a bit.
I think we're all going through a bit, sir.
Well, How about, and he's actually going to reach under the table, you empty out your cups, and he pops a cap off of a bottle. And we have a drink to good fortunes and a good partnership.
And
I'm curious, is the bottle labeled?
Yes, it does have a label on it. It does just seem to be a brew of some sort. It probably describes a Hexenreich town that it's from, date brewed, and has a cute name that is a play on Dragon's Breath.
I was going to say...
It's really funny in Hexenreich, not so much in Brassian.
Okay, I was just see if I could figure out if it's like a wine or a beer or something like that.
Yeah, it's a weird play on Dragon's Breath and like the morning after, and it loses something in translation.
Don't worry. The dragon's finding it not as funny as everybody.
I'll take a drink.
How dare!
And he'll pour a bit of this beer into each person's cup if they empty it.
Yeah,
Carrick will.
And I'm gonna get into my backpack and pull out a bottle of wine and go. Fair trade though.
You travel well, General.
I travel quick.
I wish I could say the same.
Except for in Hexenreich.
I wish I could help you with that matter, but...
Yes, that is sort of right in the soil.
Yes. To good fortune and friendship.
To good fortune. And new friendship.
Fortune.
I'll take a drink.
And I basically just downs his...
it's beer. It's beer, Gifton.
He sort of leans into across the table towards you, Shekton, and goes, "Oh, a little soft still, no."
Not everyone has an ever made of steel.
Not like you, my friend.
Part of me wants the wine to have part of me wants the wine to have a higher alcohol content than the beer.
I will have to ask, since we've had no clear communication in any regard to what has happened out here, but would you know if there are any other holdouts like this elsewhere?
The only men that I knew that were holding out are now here or in the ground. Others we lost communication long ago. It is impossible to tell if they still stand or not.
That's what we got from Keller as well. Hoping that maybe you had more word.
We can still hope. Hexenreich shall not be so easily broken.
Is there any way I could get Keller in with me for these talks?
Keller? If you want him, certainly. I'll tell him to report to you on tomorrow.
I'm gonna take out a couple pieces of parchment because I have some, and I'm gonna look at one of my pieces, put it back, and then break out a couple quill and ink, and draw up what you'd want made. Buildings.
He'll take that before
some defenses.
You excuse me for a moment. I should fetch one of my men that is actually adept at this.
I'm saying I'll come get it from Keller. With Keller.
Yes, I will send it with him.
Give time to put some thought to it. We have to keep in mind they probably don't want us building something right up against their wall. But I can burrow deep and everything of stone.
Good. How much? What kind of area can you cover?
I'm gonna go over how much stone shaping I can do and the wall of stone spell. Basically, I'm gonna break it down for him and give him the exact and write it down.
Okay.
I'll just I'll give him all that, which I could basically, if I spend all my energy on it for the day, I could probably do it like 10 times pretty easy. All right, and actually no, it'd be less than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. I could do it about 8 times pretty easy, wall of stone, and that would be a substantial amount. And then I could also spend a day just digging with the one dig spell I have.
Yeah.
I can make a lot of
Okay.
I can make a lot of
You
areas. Basically,
you
I
note
built,
this all down. Yeah.
yeah. I know
And,
this all down.
Yeah.
And of course, your request would be good on that to give us some time and think it over.
I will have everything sent with Kelly tomorrow then. He's going to stand up.
And I'm going to cast a quick set of 2 good berry spells, give him about 20 berries, and go, for your people with nutrition issues.
Thank you, General. And I appreciate that. And he's actually just going to pull out another bottle from beneath the desk and go.
I'm holding my hand up. Keep it for after. Gotta have something to celebrate with.
Good words. And he puts it back. Then I thank you for your visit. Let me have one of my men escort you out, and I look forward to more conversations.
As do I.
And he will lead you to the.
I'll pop a Barassian salute to him.
And he'll give you a Hexenreich one in return.
Nod.
And he will lead you to the tent entrance, where he asks one of the guards to escort you out in a very polite term. But he'll look at you.
Please take our new friends out.
Yes, essentially. But he looks at you, Shaxton, for. Would you mind holding a moment, Rotscala?
I can. And
I'm gonna give you this look, a meaningful look of. Do you want me to say no? So I'm gonna roll an insight of. Do you look like you don't want me to let you go? I might know.
Shax actually looks like he thinks letting him alone with this man is going to be a bad idea.
Felday, make sure Shaxan doesn't get lost.
Nods.
The general actually laughs at it and goes, losing your sense of direction in your old age, Rotscala.
Something like that, yes.
If you do not mind just waiting outside the tent flap. Felday, was it?
Yes, that is his name.
Looks to Shax, does not verbally respond.
Yes, he is told that.
He looks at you, Felday, before he puts an arm over your shoulders, Rotscala. And just doesn't actually take you deep inside the tent, just like inside, just facing away from Telday and the others as they depart. And he goes, what happened to you after during the fall?
The research center I was at was attacked by the people afflicted. I attempted to escape on an airship, and we went down over the sea. I was lucky enough to Brass was able to fish me out of the ocean. I've been living in one of the small towns in Brass since then, and assisting this group here.
And they've been treating you well?
They have.
You truly think they mean to aid us?
They do. I know the girl, she is nearly incapable of lying.
I know that you would do what is needed for your country. You would not let anything happen to us. So. I know that Ansberg burned. Your sister, did she go with you? Did she?
We are able to scry on her. My sister has passed.
I am sorry to hear that, Jackson.
It is. At least she was not taken as one of them.
We will avenge them all.
The best vengeance we could give them would be making sure that there's a homeland that they could be proud of.
He nods firmly and sort of actually squeezes your shoulders very, firmly. Very well said. And then he just lets you go and it pops you a very sort of informal-looking salute. It's just a quick up.
Jax will salute back and
nothing like a bad guy that doesn't think that he has anything to worry about with you.
Yep.
Here, Saxon, do you want this revolver?
Oh, you forget he's wearing his armor. He doesn't need a fucking revolver right
Yeah,
now.
no.
That revolver just talks you into bad ideas, though.
Yeah.
What an excuse?
I've got a lightning launcher that has been on a trigger since we walked in the room.
Telday's tried to eavesdrop on that. Was he able
Then
to?
researcher, Telday, go ahead and give me a perception check. You really hardly need to, but I'm going to ask for it anyway. Oh, that was it. Yeah, you heard it all. And he just says,
Jax is making no attempt to hide it anyway. So.
I wasn't really trying to listen in.
Yeah.
Personal details, but I did want to be ready to jump in if needed.
And then researcher Rod Scholar, he says with a bit of humor in his voice, "I'll see you in the coming days."
We'll see you soon, Captain. And Jack.
You do not get a response from that, and there isn't too much expression shown on his face.
Dick.
Nice. Okay.
Not acknowledging his battlefield promotion at all, are you?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
His pointed promotion.
Hey, at some point, somebody becomes captain.
Right, you are able to leave and join Telday and start heading out of the camp. Actually, yeah, the two of you, go ahead and give me another perception check as you walk out. It's not a hard DC. You will overhear that one sneery guard just talking to the other guard now that the rest of the group has already sort of headed out. Basically just saying, "Can't believe they let that centaur filth walk in our grounds," and the other guard just going, "Hans, be kind."
How close are they to the exit? Like, are we walking right past them?
Yeah, you're walking right past them, and it's not so much an exit; it's just the camp bounds.
Those were the two guards who also their guns very obviously
are unarmed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Jax actually pointed at the man who was called Hanzo. By the way, if that gun was loaded, that bolt would not be pulled back that way. As they walk away.
He looks down at his gun and alarm, and you hear a sort of shizer behind you as you walk off, and there is the sound of a bolt being snapped back into place. Yeah.
For those who get it, Hans is a centaur.
So Cassie wants me to true polymorph that man into a centaur.
Got it.
Just leave him like that.
Yeah.
No, just turn him into the lower half of a centaur.
No, I'm sorry. I don't need to re-solidify the great Fey image for Hexen, right?
You don't know what you're saying right now.
What you need to do is transform him not into a centaur, but a mini-tar of a centaur.
God, make him a
pony.
Make him a donkey centaur.
Donkey tar.
As I doubt the main group has actually gone too far from the camp bounds, as they're waiting for Shaxton and Telday. You're able to rejoin them quickly enough.
Shaxton, you okay? I'm sorry to be as hard on you in there, but we need to keep up appearances.
It was necessary. I'm very certain if
I'm putting a hand on your shoulder.
I'm very certain up to my first impulse and that I would have shot that man dead.
So he's not a great person. Great. Good to know.
What should we be on the lookout for?
Do I have to worry about his men then?
Out of character Woodchucks.
Shaxton, what
just him mostly.
What you remember of him is beyond the unpleasant things that you remember, he was good to his men. Like, actually genuine and kind, tried to get on with his men well. You don't think that there's anything to really fear from him or his men beyond, the standard Hexen racism.
Jax will breathe in and go, I think beyond the standard hurdles of my people being prone to looking down on other races.
That's all right.
I do not think
being looked down upon. It's fine.
I do not think he is a risk.
Yes,
all right.
I heard.
Well, I mean what I said. We're gonna do what we can for them. I do think they need better defenses because if that army comes up, they are cattle.
Dead.
Yeah. So we need to make proper defenses here, and I'm gonna do what I can between them. Oh, I've got to talk to a lot of people. Gifton has this look of, I could delegate this. I kind of look at Telday.
I will talk to people as necessary. I've already begun discussions.
Melinda really likes you, right?
Not at all, but we have discussed things.
All right. Well, maybe something.
Corvus is rubbing his head, thinking. Based off just his knowledge of history and of the country and what's here, is it like not even feasible that this is going to be a new Hexenreich?
It would be an incredible feat.
I mean, certainly not right here.
Yeah, definitely not here. You think that any of that talk is just about trying to reunite and retake the country, which, I mean, if people are miraculously cured, maybe, but like...
Yeah. The population here versus the population before.
It's not even a fraction. It's...
Yeah.
Like, if this is all that is left, then Hexenreich as a country is gone.
It would be a city-state at best.
Yeah, basically, it would be a town called Hexenreich at this point.
Yeah. It'd probably be a town about the size of Dulwood at best.
Yeah.
If we can get them to work with
Not Wind and
maybe
Dulwood.
we can get something out of it.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna do what we can for them, because I will not abandon these people. If
I do have a few ideas about how to be able to shore up defenses, but I'm not sure that the Barastian army will be appreciating some of the efforts required.
What do you mean?
I do believe my brother would be helpful.
Hevday would be amazing here. We're gonna put in that request.
He would need to be fully armed.
Wasn't he stripped of his armaments?
We will need to talk with the people here in Furamir to get permission for him to come through, because Hevday is a unit unto himself, and will need to get a release from the Barassian government for him to have his armor, his weapons. But we will work on that till day. I think that is good.
Yes,
I wish we could get Scrim, huh?
Having Hevday here might actually be a good thing, because are we outside of the refugee camp?
I'm assuming we've been walking
if you
away,
want to,
so yeah.
if you want to, like, walk around the outer area of the refugee camp, yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that then. We're trying to avoid people that'll hear us too much.
Just the way he was talking and the glare I was getting from that one soldier, there is a huge amount of hostility and racism in that group. Having them fully armed, they might actually try to turn the Furamir.
He did call you unkind things.
I figured as much. I've seen that look so many times. It's easy to tell. It's so easy to tell.
It would be a very foolhardy endeavor to do such a thing, considering what Furamir is and what capabilities they have.
But fools tend to be very hardy.
Yeah.
The thing is,
so having Hevday here acting as a
protectorate, if what I've been told about him, if he's given orders to protect the refugees from all comers, that would keep Mr. Fancy Pants back there and the Furamir away from
that's right. You never met Hevday, did you? He does actually have conversations, Cass. He's not just like a get ordered to go do things. He's not going to be. He's a person unto himself. He's actually quite jovial. He likes singing.
He has many things.
I'm also gonna get people that actually know Hevday. Please give me an intelligence roll, and it's gonna be a very low DC.
When you say no,
I mean, no, we
had
one interaction.
That's enough. Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to check that you
Also,
were.
Hefty likes a fight that, like, oh, I'm not smart enough for shit. I'm sorry.
I smirk.
I mean,
Eric has
if you want to
brilliant
make an assumption before you've rolled, which you were saying it, I'm going to allow it.
Yeah,
This is just
I'm gonna say Hefty lives and breathes for fights that are insurmountable. He will want to stand with a force of people that cannot defend themselves. That was what I was trying to get out.
Everyone else, you are getting like a very clear mental image of a very, very distinct evil possibility that if doesn't matter if it's the Hexmarkers or the Ferrimilot, if one of them actually like tries to tell him to stand aside or anything like that in a completely harmless scenario, there is a heavy probability of a fist sending a body flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a good defender. He would not be.
Here's an incident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Just no one really direct have day besides guard this location.
Can we just like create a claw attached to her?
All right, but yeah, let's
Just
get
pick 'em up
that
and
going.
drop 'em
Let's go talk
someplace.
to them. We need to make a push. I
Well,
would like to spend the rest of my spell points doing something useful today rather than sitting in a room again.
it's funny.
Mention Scrim.
I mean,
I think he is doing better where he is.
I know
This
Scrim's
is not
probably
his
better.
fight.
And
Yeah.
he has his family back.
I'm sorry. I've just got a really romanticized idea that someday I can be shoulder to shoulder fighting a big horrible army with Scrim at my side. I don't know
How
really when
about
it came to be, but it's a dream I have.
How about a large alien-looking dragon?
Could simply ask him.
But what?
Just pose it as a situation.
The first dragons.
The first- the
Garrett
first-
was
Oh,
discussing the
you
first
mean
dragon.
you mean Scrim with the? He might. I don't know. If we're on home soil, Scrim might turn on me again. It's weird. I feel
Yeah,
safer. I feel safer for someplace else.
Well, we still haven't actually decided exactly where we're going.
I actually don't even know if Scrim would talk to me if I tried to get a hold of him anyway. Anyway, but I'd like to spend my spell points doing something useful today rather than just, spinning my proverbial wheels. And I do want to go in and talk to those Fae because, like, I don't remember if any of you remember, but at one point, Titania told me that the Fae was divided into different pieces, and I was supposed to reunite them all. And there's just like this big, huge, like crazy thing that I might. This might be part of that, and I don't know. And I'm just really confused because I have a lot of things going on right now, and I'm just really would like the world to
Eric should just put his hand on Gifton's
slow
shoulder.
it down a little bit, right? It's like what was that thing you said earlier, Corvus, about that child game with the blocks that fall over?
Dominoes.
Yeah, because you typed in the thing that you said domino to me. So
Yeah.
I was going with that. Yeah, it's like that. It's like one thing after another thing, and I feel like I'm not catching everything that's falling to the ground.
Yeah, Pizza Hut effect.
You're doing a lot better than a lot of people.
What did you say, you?
Yeah, Pizza Hut effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
General,
I mean, also we had
just
Echo with
give
us
me
at
a
one
list.
point. A list?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
You might want to clarify a list of what. She may just write you a list of anything.
Giving.
These are my
anything out.
groceries.
I would like some lentils and some milk.
A list for what purpose, Talday?
Sends a sending off to hey. All right, I need these groceries.
No, they're gonna start calling them tells because they come from you.
Tell day.
Today's tell day, the day that you get your tells.
Oh, Miss
Also,
Tell.
we should also probably try to contact one of the gods because, like Valdo said, one of the gods might know how things fall apart and stuff. With the whole and how we'd anchor the heaven because they already kind of have an idea how to anchor the heaven, and
That's for a much later.
and also like
issue.
maybe but maybe if we keep the heaven up, maybe magic doesn't go away. That was something Valda said, and
You seem to have the best relationship with gods.
you have a good relationship with
some.
two of them.
They do seem to be.
I have gotten a
would be
rude
good
look
to ask.
from three of them. One of them might be an outlier that likes me. One of them's my daughter.
I know the humor of it coming from me, but let's take things at the time. We have discussions with the council.
We do
take
need
care
to
of.
make sure to get your father. Oh, I'm gonna look over at Shaxan and Corvus. I don't know if either of you wanted to go talk to him, but maybe we should suggest to Aldo, even if in the meantime he could go be on the airship. We could let Scarlet know, and he could have a room there.
Doesn't that seem like a bad idea?
If he's not allowed inside the city, yeah.
Yeah. I hesitate to get further involved in your family matters as I seem to disrupt them a lot, I say to Corvus.
There's nothing that can be even more so.
Okay. If he does go to the airship though, who's gonna tell Echo?
I need to spend more time with her anyway, so I might as well do that as well.
Okay, well, why don't we all go back in first, and we'll see what the opportunity has waiting for us next.
Hopefully, it is not assassins again.
Yeah,
Yes,
about
hopefully
that.
not.
Oh, we're back on watches.
Maybe
back on watches. Back
also,
on.
Corvus, you should be giving an official apology.
No. Yeah, I'm aware of that.
The problem with watches is if we're in separate rooms.
I would
and that
like you to
happens,
apologize to Valda, the next time we meet her, because that could have hit any number of their poor little soldiers running around that were trying to protect us. I know you were trying to do the right thing. You were scared, and we didn't know what the situation was, but we do have to be mindful of our spells.
Yeah.
When we meet them again, I will verify with Valda. I can keep alarms up in all of our rooms.
Also, we should really try to cut down on the amount of a hand wave stuff we're making them have to prep for.
They did offer that we could all be in the same room.
No, I mean, unfortunately, I know that's nothing for them to let us stay in the city, in the fact that we're staying in a house in the city, and we're walking up as we're talking. But every time one of us wants to leave the room and go around town or do anything, I'm certain that they are having to scramble and hire one of their mages to go be a guard, to go keep an eye on us, to make sure that we don't flagrantly destroy something, or that whoever it was that did that thing doesn't try to kill us.
Are you suggesting that we only go as a group?
I'm suggesting either we only go places as a group, or we cut down to only one of us in the city. And I think that the person that would be best in the city would be Tilde, if we were going to cut it down. Because the rest of us have needs, and Tilde is a lot more self-sufficient, and I think they like you better.
The only that is a good idea. Is the only downside is that if there's any further actions against us, Tilde is a very easy target for that.
I don't think they sent anybody after him.
The attempted assailant of Carrick seemed surprised that Valda and I were there.
Yeah.
So there might have been someone inside Telde's room, and we just...
Did they prepare me a room? Huh.
So
I don't...
It was your first room and you didn't take advantage of it.
I've had a room before.
I'm not certain somebody sent one for Tilde.
There's one in my room. There's one with Saxon and Cass.
One for each of us.
You did all be aware that after all of the clearings and searches that were done, only 5 shadows were accounted to be there.
So I think whoever it is hates the living.
Hmm.
And if they hate the living, as far as organic
Their
life,
concern, Telday.
they would leave Telday alone and he would be safe there. And I consider Telday one of us, and I trust his judgment and would be fine with him being our voice.
There is.
And if it means that we are causing less hardship to their town while we are trying to help them, I would do that. I would gladly stay outside if that helps. But
there is always the
that
other
is a
side.
lot of responsibility on you, Telday, if you were to take that on.
There is the other side that they don't consider Telday a threat and didn't try to go after him. Because they did not send one after Valda either.
I don't think they expected Valda to be there.
Why would they attempt to assassinate if we are following upon this belief? Their own.
That's the thing, we do not know even if it is their own. There's an entire camp of outside of theirs.
Are you suggesting that it may have been an attempt by the Hexenrackers?
I have no idea who attempted it. That is the problem with shadows. There's nothing left to gain from.
Arcana rolls for anybody that wants to attend to.
I don't believe that what we've seen of the Hexenreich lot, that they have very many mages that are capable of breaching the magical defenses of Furamir. I mean,
okay,
they have to let us cast stuff.
Not Cassie, not Corvus.
All right, what is this Arcana? I'm rolling it. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
Come on, gifted.
I'm gonna spend a thing so I get advantage. So give me a second.
Okay.
1 second. I'm doing it again because I get advantage because I spent a card.
Gifted.
I said I did. Worse.
Wow.
Good. Cool.
Carrick, Teldate, and
Just wanted to let you
Shatton.
know. That's gone. Actually, I'll
You
take that one.
are
That
quite
one's
aware
back.
that shadows of that caliber, because those did not dissipate quite as readily as the shadow should. Those were particularly resilient things.
Mm-hmm.
To summon that many of them, even forgetting getting them past Furamir's defenses, would take a very, very powerful mage. Something that apparently the Furamir, the Hexenreich camp lacks right now.
So it came from, well, I don't know.
It would have to be from a different camp or inside the.
So Faramir or some other party.
Or Hexenreich's lying.
Yes, for the magical power, that seems like it would have taken. I do not. I can't unless
I
are lying to us are capable of.
I understand no matter what, we're taking a risk. So it's just I would rather Furamir spends their time and energy, their mages, because they're all scholars, right? They're all people of knowledge and greatness, right? They're people that know how to do great things. They could be putting their energy to so much more than standing around being our shepherds.
Damn.
And I would like to help them as much as I can, but they don't trust me to help them. I mean, if they would let me, I would go into their little herb fields and I would just sit there and just channel energy to make those plants grow like crazy.
At this point, and I do apologise because I already had this planned, that there is the rather loud sound of a gargoyle alighting near your group. Settles onto the ground and just sort of does its little grinding waddle up towards you all, and then opens its mouth, and you hear Wilhelm's voice coming out of it and going, I do apologise. I do require the presence of both General Greysteel and Telday, if that is not a problem.
That is good. We were just having a conversation about that.
Yes, we've received a rather peculiar request and I'd like to discuss it in person.
Yeah, is it possible for Otto to be there?
Otto? Yeah, I can grab him away, I believe. Why, do you have business with Otto?
We have a matter we'd like to discuss. We're concerned about.
Would you like me to convene the council in its entirety, or?
I'll be frank. I think you housing us is causing undue stress on your people.
Hmm.
And I'm worried about the financial and other ramifications it's having.
I'm sure our coffers are fine. Has Otto said something to you?
No.
Hmm.
But I can't, ignore the fact that you're having to hire a bunch of guards to constantly follow us around.
It's not constant.
It's only when we're there.
Yes. Believe me.
Cass is actually going to shoo Gifton and Tilde and the rest of the party towards the
Let's
building.
continue
Let's
this
have
in a
conversation
more.
there rather than
Yes.
on the street.
And as you're doing that, you're actually going to hear Wilhelm's voice growing distant, going, "So I'd really like for you to, get
We'll
yourself."
be there in a minute, Wilhelm.
Why-
They just wanted.
why do you
me
sound-
to-
They only request the two.
Why-
Gargoyle,
What?
have they moved?
What? Hey,
Follow
why
them.
are you shoving me away, Wilhelm?
And the gargoyle's
starting
going to
to
start
push Cass
loping
back.
after you all.
I'm starting to push Cass back.
I'm just scooching everyone. Come on.
I'm pushing Cass back towards the gargoyle.
Gas, good luck with that. That's a dragon.
Hello.
That's-
Yes. Okay. Well, how about I at least grab Fowler?
Yeah, we have. Yeah. You wanted me until day though.
Yes. I mean, the rest of you are welcome, of course, but need you until day, I should say.
Need.
Mhm.
Is it something I need to be concerned about, Wilhelm?
I don't believe so. You can tell me when you get here.
All right. All right. Let's just all go as a group. Like I said, it's probably just easier if we do group activities. That
Oh
way
yes,
they
much. And the gargoyle closes
hold
its mouth.
hands.
Like I said, they have a lot of expenditures. I think they're spending on hiring people. Ugh.
And the gargoyle is then going to take flight and head back towards the city walls.
Yeah.
I don't think they're hiring people just to watch us. I think they might be just
That guard that was leading Corvus around was a botanist. He's normally a botanist, isn't he?
He was
Corvus?
he was a guard at the gate.
Yeah, but
just-
But you said he was a
trained as
botanist.
He's trained as a botanist. He's doing guard duty because he probably wanted to change a pace.
Okay, so as you debate this amongst each other, you do actually read the city gates and are led in.
I'm gonna be really friendly with all the guards as we come in.
You get a few nods, waves. A ghostly guard will actually lead you this time. And there's a very wispy style of ghost, like you see parts of them sort of trailing behind.
Do they kind of float through the air, or do they walk?
Well, no, they walk, but like they leave an almost after image as they're moving.
Oh no, the headache.
Yeah.
Fog.
A bit foggy, yeah. And they lead you on to the council building. And
Thank you so much.
they smile at you and
I'll give them a big curtsy.
they give you a Furimist old salute, which is basically both arms across the chest, as is typical.
It's very, very vampire god. We appreciate you.
And
Thank you.
they mouth something that you think is an appreciation in return, but no sound comes. Before they turn and head off. You're all able to enter the council building without any problem. And getting down there, you will see Wilhelm, Fowler, Melinda, and Otto are gathered.
So
Hey!
almost everybody.
Almost everybody.
Almost everybody.
Yeah, just no Sigmund
Hi.
and no Annalisa.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not the two people who probably hate us the most. Got it.
Luther?
No Luther.
No,
no, Luther.
Luther loves us.
Aw.
Melinda sort of bows her head towards you. Otto seems to be like clacking a abacus. And Fowler gives an acknowledging nod as well, while Wilhelm actually waves merrily.
Hey. Yeah, we were just having a discussion when we were coming out from the Hexenreicher's camp, and we were discussing various defenses and things like that. And I have a lot of concerns about. As I told this group, I think that we should probably, when we're move as a group through your town. Just make it easier for your people to keep control of what situations happen around us and from us.
Would
that help? And
Fowler and Wilhelm both seem to start to go, oh no, we don't want you to be inconvenienced to yourselves. But Melinda actually sort of booms over and goes, that would actually be very helpful, sticking together as a group.
I can't imagine what manpower you are currently using up having to chase us around town. I was also suggesting that it would be all right with me if Telde is willing to accept the role, that if you wanted us to more often stay out of town, Telde could be my voice in town.
Fowler looks at Melinda before actually going, I think your continued presence here is actually a help. I truly do want to get both sides more adjusted to each other.
I am not afraid of anyone here. I mean, other than the fact that I'm pretty sure, I look over at Melinda, toe to toe, you're going to wreck me. But I'm just saying, as a person of what you are, I'm not scared of you for what you are. I don't want to scare your people, and I don't want to scare their people either. And that's all I seem to do. And I want to minimize damage as much as possible. Because it seems like all I've seen ever since I've landed on this continent is just scared people, and I don't want to be the cause.
Melia faces soon abate fear. Fowler says, please stay.
All right. But again, I think for at least the sanity's sake of the coffers and the poor guard that Melinda is having to tend, we'll try to move as a group.
Much appreciated, much appreciated. Otto just mumbles to himself and seems to shift a couple of beads back where they were.
That slow creak of a bead back to the other side.
Yeah, no, schlick clack. Wilhelm goes, right, well, that's marvellous and all, but so had a rather strange request that we've discussed a little bit. We're okay with, but so General Greysteel, how do you feel about having irregulars under your command?
I would be completely fine with that.
And Telde, how do you feel about your own people coming here?
If that is their wish.
Is it Hev Day? We were just talking about Hev Day.
Don't have any names, but apparently there have been a small amount of Warforged that have requested to come here.
Sounds to reason.
Most of them are willing to fight. There's a few that want to just experience the city. I would like to hold off on that for now until things are safer. But if some want to come and help defend, we do not object.
Some of them may be quite helpful in that regard.
I would be good with that. I look over to Belinda. I have a request from myself and also from the Hexenreichers outside in the camp. We made contact with the military unit that is kind of cobbled together still there and trying to hold on. I would like to make them stone structures and dig them a trench. I would like to work with you where and how appropriately I can set that up. They're putting together a request of what they would like to have, so that way they can try to abate things if another attack comes. I understand building things would be a bit of a tax on me, but I can do it.
My permission does depend entirely on the specificities of their request, you understand.
I am having them draw up their specificities right now, as I told them, and I'm going to give her the same information. I am capable of this spell this many times. I can dig deep. I can do the whole thing. I would like to make someplace safe for them to get away, or at least some shelter if an attack comes. But I don't want it to be a threat to Faramir or its people. And I also have asked that they, if you consider it, and they are going to consider it, working with Faramir on patrols and guard.
Then all I can promise you now is I will not dismiss this out of hand. I will refuse their request. I do believe that one part I can assure you I will need is for some of my own soldiers to be involved with the overseeing the construction of this fortification, so that we are aware of its layout.
I would definitely want you to know exactly of what I am putting down, and it is what I am putting down. I would also ask, on their behest, in the future of them being part of the defense, they are going to probably need to have some supply of ammunition. I don't expect that is something that you would be comfortable giving from your own stock. I would request it through Barast, but I would want you to inspect it, know how much I am giving them.
I find that acceptable. You will secure the permission of your own military if they are comfortable with supplying arms to them, and I am able to inspect them. I will not object, unless they are sending particularly nasty things.
Things that would be counter to you. I have met with a Captain Costner. General Costner, I believe he is self-promoted. Jack said. Somebody said he is organizing that group over there, and he took in some of the soldiers that I had worked with on the way here. I have offered them. I will try what I can to bring them supplies and such, but I am urging them that they need to work with you and accept that your people are here to help them, and that you have as much to be concerned about from them as you do from the crazed.
Then I will review his requests when they come, and I will see about arranging a liaison, one of his men to me, one of mine to him.
And I will also say in all clarity, some of his people are bigots.
Oh, they are beyond. They're very much bigots.
Yeah. Anyway, but just so you know, that is the hill we're climbing.
And that is what people are like. We experience our fair share more, but even Furmir has, well, as many Hexenreichers, you understand, that come here. Sorry.
Also, I am sorry to hijack this meeting further, but we have one further request. Mr. Adderlass's father, or was it your father? It was your father?
Yes.
Is among the refugees in the encampment, and we are interested in bringing him out.
I'm so pleased to hear that, my good man. It must be nice to find family alive here still. Not many can have that. Wilhelm says, actually looking very pleased for you.
He was working at the medical tents that they have set up. I can give you the specificities of who all we treated today if you need that information. I looked to Melinda. But we have pretty much cleared them out, I think, of any of their long-term patients, hopefully. I'm sorry, you wanted to talk to us.
Well, honestly, it was just about the Warforged thing. I mean, you're the commander of the Brasilian forces here, so had to run it by you.
No, I think that would be great. I'll be honest, I haven't actually had my forces assigned to me yet that I know of.
We may want, since it was brought up, do more discussion about Have Day and maybe have that cleared before we.
Oh yeah, there is an exceptionally large Warforged that we know that loves fights that are pitched one way. He likes to fight for the underdog, as it were. We were wondering if we could try and get him here. Unfortunately, he is a military grade equipped Warforged. He's mostly made of cannons.
What kind of power does he pack?
He nearly bested the group of us.
That cannon hurts like a son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
I am more interested in its ability to damage fortifications.
Actually, did we see any actual damage to the building?
I don't remember. He didn't really physically damage the room, but he physically damaged my tender little body.
It may be possible if we're aimed in such a direction. Yes.
I believe, based on if Barast is willing to fully give him
his
everything
equipment
back too, because
Yeah, Barast was not comfortable having him running around Winden like that, despite his claims that those were his arms, I believe.
They are.
Yeah,
they are, yes.
they are his arms.
I will need to see exact specifications of what he's capable of, if that is available to be provided.
I don't have them myself, but I look over to Wilhelm. We can try and work our magic.
Oh, yes, let's ask for what might be military secrets. That will be fine, yes.
Yeah. But we don't even know if he wants to come. I'm sure he will, though. He's kind of sparring for a fight.
I will hold you all directly responsible for him.
I think that is fair.
You'll promise me that he will not harm anything here. Anyone here.
We'll clear all
On
that before-
purpose, no. On
No,
accident.
I cannot have an on accident either.
Okay.
We
I
will
will
clear all
talk
that.
with him.
Yes, right. We think we can clear that.
You only
before.
be allowed here. You would only be allowed here if that is 100% illegal.
Yes, I mean, he will basically have to, yeah.
He nods rather severely. Fowler sort of looks up at her with that sort of like calm down gesture. Before
I had this one completely.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I look over at everybody. I'm just like, it's fair. I mean, have they
yes, but there's more
one-on-one.
delicate ways to phrase things, Melinda.
This is understandable, though.
I think it's fair to trans delicateness when we're discussing such a matter.
Yes. No hurt feelings at all.
Also, is there anything else that we can do? I feel kind of like I'm not doing anything. I'm very capable with plants. I don't mean to sound racist, but I Faye knows a thing or two. Do you have any herbs or anything I can help grow? Or
We have a few greenhouses that you could help encourage. I don't see any harm in that.
all right.
You able to make things blossom from seed?
I will reach into my pocket, pull out a seed, and make a bloom.
In that case, we can uproot some of the less useful herbs and replant food.
If you do not mind me doing so, I can do this. I believe from our room. But I would like to have permission to cast the spell. I can affect several miles of farmland from around me and increase yield.
Are you able to reduce the radius of that?
I can try.
Having everything outside of the city walls become overgrown might not be great, so we'll have to position you carefully.
Mm-hmm. It takes a large amount of my time to do it. So, like I said, I could do it from the room. I'm not sure how big your city is.
There's a moment of.
And I don't want to inquire, so I will air your information. I believe the enrichment that I do though will not cause things to become immediately overgrown, if that were your concern. But it takes about an 8 hour, and it will be a half-mile radius.
That should be acceptable then.
I unfortunately do not have the variety that she does, but if there is anything that I can assist with. But Valda and Melinda, I do have a question for you to try to help with the protection and such. I know you okayed me casting alarm last night, but would I be okay to cast that each evening, so to reduce your all's need for that part? At least to give us a warning in case the shadows or something else tries again.
There's a moment of silence where Fowler and Wilhelm, not Otto doesn't care, both look to Melinda, who seems to ponder it for a moment before just bowing her head and going, considering what has happened to you and our continued attempts at trust shown to each other, I'm going to say it is okay for you all to cast magics that are not disruptive to the city.
Thank you very much. I will do no.
Corvus will step forward.
Unless your father Luther would have to be the final word, but I do not object from a defensive measure of allowing him in. He's a tolerant man.
Yes. But Corvus will bow at the waist.
Gifton's expression softens slightly as she looks at Corvus.
I want to apologize for my actions concerning the events of that night. They were knee-jerk and not well thought out. Sorry if there's been any fallout from such an action.
If anyone was seriously hurt, you would not be in the city still. Melinda just says a little coldly, but Valda just stands up and comes over to you and goes, "Thank you for your apology, Mr. Adelas. I appreciate it."
He'll nod and right himself back up. But yes, concerning mine father, he is he's very reasonable, and we just want to have a sit down with him and discuss things.
I take it he's not requesting permanent residence here. The way she says that,
he is interested in going to Barras to see his grandson.
Well, in that case, that can be easily arranged. We can send him with the next group destined for that, or we can let you handle that matter if you want.
That sounds good. Also, do you use? I'm sorry, I'm very blunt about everything that I do. I look over at Carrick and I look at Valda. Magic that requires diamonds.
Resurrection.
Do you use anything else that needs diamonds?
There are quite a few spells that require diamond components, yes.
All right, because I hold out a bag. It's quite hefty still. And I open it up. I was given a lot of diamonds and told to use them. And for the purpose that I use them for, I've used them. I have a lot left here.
Otto is perking up and looking your way.
This is 100,000 gold pieces worth of diamonds that I have. I calculated it up to see how much the value is.
Donation must be paid for the appropriate offices.
Okay, but that's why I wanted Otto here. Otto, how much paperwork am I going to have to do for this?
The shutters of his coffin close. You hear some ruffling around in there before it opens up again, and he pops out holding something. Looks like a sheet of paper with writing on it. And not too much. One donation, large.
One large donation, yes.
It's 3 sheets of paperwork.
All right, Colonel Telday, I'm going to hand you this big bag. Could you please go and make sure the appropriate office is contacted and given this paperwork in order to donate this amount of diamonds?
Are we just like side grading him into a different part of the military?
No, that would be the same.
Well, I'm sure
rank
Otto
structure.
would not object to such a donation.
Yeah.
Diamonds are one of the things that we're not particularly hurting for in our medical coffers.
The only other things I got is ruby dust. I don't carry a lot of other things.
Ruby dust is always welcome, Falda says with a sort of gleam in her eyes.
I'm gonna pull off my little baggie.
Out of character, I suddenly just see Otto grabbing his abacus and just shifting it all over, resetting the entire thing, smiling.
Got 1,000 gold pieces worth of that.
I would be willing to pay you fair dividend for a chunk of that if you'd be willing to spare it.
Can I donate 50 or 500 of that? Or about 500 about it.
Otto was making a very distressed sounding noise. Diamond's easy, ruby dust. A lot more paperwork.
Was this
okay,
a donation or an exchange between two individuals?
I need another rank to give Telday. 1 second.
If it was a direct purchase, then it would need permission from one of the council members. And there's a moment of silence without a discuss. I give myself permission.
Yeah, I was about to say that that's a very
Get off this.
Major Telde, could you please handle this?
You're okay,
What?
Lieutenant.
Did you just demote him?
I don't
And
know.
this-
What point is it?
This will come from my personal funds, Otto, not the city's. May I purchase 500 gold pieces worth of ruby? That's from you.
Sure, that's fine. Good.
Okay, she's actually just going to reach up a sleeve and pull out a coin purse from it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna shove her the ruby dust, and I go, and if you need another hit later, you know where I am.
Which you are now going to receive 500 gold pieces worth of electrum.
Oh,
500 pieces of crap. Good.
Sucker.
But no, she actually gives you platinum.
No, I don't want. Well, she can't give me 500. She needs to give me 500 gold because it's 500 gold. It'd be gold.
That needs 500 gold worth of platinum.
Yes.
Oh.
I think is what she said.
Yes.
so
No.
50.
I was hoping it should be in
50,
copper.
so
50 platinum
you give me
pieces.
50 platinum. Okay. 50
I was
platinum.
hoping
I'll
it
take
should
that
be
from her.
500 gold and copper.
Anyway,
Enjoy.
okay. Congratulations. Yeah. If you need another hit, let me know. Apparently, I can cast Simulacrum without needing
Which,
that. So that's fine.
quick investigation check from Gifton.
No.
Yeah, give me a roll.
I know how bad I am. Why are we trying?
Do it.
Why do you hurt me?
Aww.
You know what? I need to roll
Can I-
today.
can
One
I
second. Let me see.
actually-
It's positive or negative? It's positive. All right, I'm rolling a wheel. I
Okay.
rolled a 2. It's
Right.
11.
You think some of these coins might be interest to Stenhouse?
Oh, these are gold.
I was sitting here with my finger over
I'll hold them up over to Carrick. Carrick, you think Stenhouse wants this?
That's a very old Hexenrite coin. I should say pre-Hexenrite coin.
I'm guessing he'd be interested. I don't know his entire collection.
I will hand you this pile of coins that I was just given.
Like, some of these coins
Fine,
you
which
expect
ones
might be
are
older
useful?
than Fowler herself.
Okay, going down to the bottom of the list. And you said they're in
This is a
plat.
city of trade between some ancient beings here, yo.
Yeah. That never get a deal with anybody else. So of course they have only one type of coin. All right. Well,
Okay, I now have 50 plat and rare coins to show Sten.
Oh, and just for clarity, do you have any problem with us having our simulacrums here at all?
How many simulacra are we talking?
Well, right now, Carrick has a simulacrum of me, and I have a simulacrum of me. Mine's not here. Mine's at home.
Why did not Lufa say such a thing? She says, pinching where you think the brow of her nose would be. It's just like a clasp
To
of
be
the fingers
fair,
in front of her
He keeps the
face.
simulacrum of me in his backpack, so I don't know if Luther
It
knows.
is in the bag of holding. so
I see.
I don't tend to
I
bring it out too often.
Think the point is already moot and late, so no,
Okay,
we have no
but
issue.
All right, no issue. Okay, because it can do everything I can do.
That is worrying, but
So, there technically would be a third one, but actually, wait. Is Shax's with?
No, there's
airship?
there's 2 Shaxes. One of
Yeah.
them's at my house, and one of them's on the airship.
Okay. So we may at some point need to mention the airship.
Why do we keep doing multiples of the same people?
I don't know. We have 2 because we have 2 copies of everybody who's used it. So
Because the people are useful.
I tell you,
I don't
if
know if I
that Hexenreich army looks scary, I'm really tempted to just go on the front line with my Simulacrum and just say, let's make some copies before I start unloading spells. But I think that will cause a really bad uproar, and I've already been told by Barras, don't do that.
I mean, if it gets really bad, there is always
Come
these
down on you.
always bringing my sim over, just going dragon form, have fun.
I mean, you guys should be way more worried about the fact that there's a Hexenrite army with powerful mages that won't be following rules and regulations right now.
Yeah.
And I like our Valda. Actually, would you guys actually have issue with that right now?
Issue with what?
We just talked about.
What, do you have any simulacra?
No, but having my Simulacra cast Wish to cast Simulacra on me, and then having that Simulacra cast Wish to cast Simulacra on me, and then that Wish one casting
Yes,
Wish to cast
Melinda
Simulacra on
says.
me.
I would have great issue with this.
I'm just saying, if it looks like our back's in a corner, would that be an issue?
If our back's in the corner and the city's about to fall, then I am in no position to stop you from doing what you would like.
All right, good. So just so you know, that's going to be something I'm thinking about. I think we're going to lose.
If we're all about to die,
Valda's
it'll
actually
be okay
quiet for a
if you
moment
destroy me.
before she just looks at you and goes, "Do be careful that you do not destroy everything in an attempt to salvage it."
Mm. That is
Fair enough.
I think that is the scorched earth.
Okay, in that
there.
point, I'll just cast a wish spell to do something else instead. But I hate casting that. Alright, so
Yet you cast it on.
I cast it for little things like message.
Sending. That
You
message.
mean-
Yeah, whatever. That spell you do with the mind thoughts. I can't cast it.
Oh, such youthful arrogance. Valda says with a sort of wistful look.
I've been yelled at by a god about it. Actually, 3 gods
I
about
am
it.
not surprised.
They don't like it when you do these things.
I luckily
They had a very
seem
good
to
point.
have.
Also,
inherited it.
you, Valda, had suggested that I try to contact a god and talk to them about things. I'd be willing to try doing it here and with one of your representatives present in case you wanted to observe the meeting. But that is if you actually want that to happen.
She
and if-
shakes her head and goes, "Well, I would like a representative present, if you would not mind. I would feel more comfortable if it was done on your soil."
Mhm. Well,
But on the
Would
edge,
you-
they're used to seeing a skull from there.
Far from our city.
I think they mean.
Well, again, if I were to go back to Barast, I would invite one of you to go with if you could get it past. I point at Melinda, who probably will say no.
Well, there is still the works.
I'll let
in the
Wilhelm
works
go,
for-
Melinda says, sort of dourly. And I've just looked up with like a minor look of hurt.
There is still the work.
You're a
on,
diplomat. Go with them.
There is always still the discussion.
I would love to take the handsome man with me.
See, she has taste.
Oh great! Oh great! She's got another one in her eye.
He's got
in her
beautiful
sights.
cheekbones.
Don't I just?
He does.
Funded some blush.
Captain's gonna marry a skeleton.
This flirting is not helping anything.
Flirting always helps.
He is constantly flirting with me. Do you see how he makes eyes?
Just be careful. She might try to make you her
Actual-
second husband.
Have you know I'm a married
Do you
woman?
even go, pointedly, no.
Oh, he flutters his eyelashes, so Valda says,
I was actually concerned you were saying he actually was. I'm like, wait, where did
I've
those
seen
come
the
from?
way he sways his hips about me. I know him. Temptuous man. All right.
Was he a Fae in his past life?
there, Wilhelm leans back in his chair happily, just like casually tossing the radio's mic up and down in his hand, and then he looks at the mic and realizes he has like got duties to
Pressed
do,
it.
and just sighs.
All right. Well, if that's everything, I guess I'll go. Yeah, we'll do things. Sorry again for taking up your time.
A pleasure as always, Wilhelm says, whereas Melinda just sort of nods as if like, I am forgiving you for this.
And Melinda, if there's any requests I can help make on your behalf, you let me know. I want your people supplied.
You already have one request that I submitted to you. If I think of anything else extra, I will ask.
Mm-hmm. And anything I can do for them, I point out like towards the Hexenray camp, I would do for you. If you want any defenses made under your supervision, I will make them for you.
She just about inclines her head towards you.
Out of character, do we actually ask anything about the irregulars, or is that just a yes?
It was just basically a yes. Basically, they already said they were okay with it. Just needed essentially the person overseeing the Barassi forces on this continent.
Were they
I'm guessing
Brassian
the-
irregulars?
They are considered Barassian citizens, so yes. But
The Warforged.
yes, the Warforged irregulars, because Brass is not.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Not
different
Brass
irregulars
military.
than the
No,
Warforged.
no, they are not
Okay.
Barras military. They are irregular volunteers,
Yeah,
specifically Warforged ones.
yeah, because the
Mhm.
Warforged are specifically not part of the military unless they
They're
choose to.
Basically,
very irregular.
Yes, they come in all,
All
different
right.
shapes.
Well, Brigadier Tilde, you do your
Oh my
best.
god.
This is acceptable.
okay. So,
I don't know what rank he's supposed to be.
unless there's
At
anything
some
people
point, I'm
want
just
to
gonna
discuss
outrank
in
Stenhouse.
character or with other NPCs or so on at this moment,
Oh, is there any chance I can meet with the Fae here at some point?
Oh, yes. I can talk to them about opening up their doors to. What should I refer to you as for them?
Ah.
Where they know who you even are.
Diplomat of Lord Dingus. Sorry.
I guess it would be Lord Dingus and Gifton Greysteel.
And you're sure you want me to refer to him as a lord? And you understand the connotations of that title with the Fae?
He is a lord of the Fae. He was granted that title by Oberon.
How out of the loop are the Fae?
How about Lord Dingus and Gifton Greysteel, associates of Lord Oberon?
How about Lord Dingus and Gifton Greysteel, messenger of Titania?
How long ago would they have been locked out? Would that have been?
Oh, they're
before?
aware of the death of Titania. It should be intriguing at the very least.
She's alive.
She's back.
Of course she is.
Was that Volta? Was that Volta?
Yeah.
I had a lot of effort to bring her back to life. It was right after I rezzed an Archangel. It was amazing. I was sick for like a week.
I am sure they will grant you an audience if nothing but intrigue fueling them.
The resurrection of the Archangel was a little scary at the time.
By the way, that's not something you're supposed to do.
No, I'm very aware.
I have a question about the Fae. Who
Yeah?
are the ones acting in charge out here?
I think they're the only Fae, it sounded like, in the entire continent. Like,
which lord and lady rule on top?
Only a lord, I'm afraid. It's taken to call himself Morris in this trip round.
Morris. Lord Morris.
Is that one of the ones here?
Mm-hmm.
Or is... Okay. So this is the only place.
I am not entirely certain, but with the whole sort of maudling aesthetic they've taken on lately, I think some Morris mortality, I don't know. It's very hard to figure out sometimes.
Gifton folds her arms and tries to hold back that look of,
You just proved the point, my dear. And yes, please don't be caught off guard by their appearance.
Huh?
Their gardens are more dour than ours. They like black roses and everything.
Oh, that sounds fun.
They seem to enjoy it, but it's morbid. And you understand who's saying that.
And Chorus gives a scrunched face like, what?
Oh, I bet they're so much fun. I can't wait to meet them.
And Wilhelm sort of rocks in his chair a bit. And, yes, and quite beautiful dresswork as well. The black corset with like a sort of, I don't think I hope it's not actual bone, but, ribbing and so on. They're delightful.
Well, I mean, it's not unheard of to turn somebody into an actual instrument and string their entrails. We should go, huh?
Out of character, do we know about the darker side of the Fae courts? Or at least Gifton?
Yes, you've encountered it many times.
You've dealt with Sealy.
Yeah, there isn't so much a darker side to the Fae courts as that's just Fae are.
The Fae court.
Yeah.
That's currently the Fae court is Unseelie.
Yes.
Do you want someone to accompany you too?
I'll be right back. My alarm's going.
I would like to point out, as I told Melinda, we are moving as a group. I smile.
I wasn't sure if that consisted of.
If this is an immediacy, I will have to ask you to wait perhaps until tomorrow, opening up the portal safely.
No, I wasn't trying to get it done tomorrow. I was asking for permission and your allocation of time when it is available. I do not wish to press into your people's business too much. I understand they're all very busy.
I'm sorry if it's rude, but yes, they are perhaps one of our more important diplomatic neighbors.
It is, in
Is it?
fact, not rude at all. Trust me, brokering the peace between the Fae over in Barast and Barast has been an exciting ordeal.
Oh, is it going well?
Yeah, they have an actual ambassador in the capital city of Wyndon now.
Yes.
Somehow that sounds more shocking than most of the things you've told me,
Sure.
and that is saying something.
Charming fellow.
Oh yeah, he's a very lovely man. Did you want me to make? This is a lot of things for probably in
That was
post.
the
when-
Yes.
Stenhouse moment.
But at some point, if you need help talking to the greater allocation of Fae over in Barast,
I am sure your grand ideas for Foromir's place in the world can wait until after we've saved it.
I'm just saying I could work something out.
Mhm. I am certain.
Get you an ambassador over there if you want one.
Right. Well, in that case, for now, unless there is any other pressing matters, Fowler says, looking around at everyone assembled.
We'll
And
go to our rooms. Yes.
you don't have to go to your rooms. You realize you are not prisoners, I hope.
I understand that, but trying to be cautious in the. We don't need to cause any extra waves and conflict in your city for you. It's all right.
And
Don't worry
I
about it.
should likely speak to Barasti.
You cut out a bunch.
You broken up
Ow.
there.
I should likely speak to our people in Barast about our proposals.
oh, take a seat then. Wilhelm says, patting chair next to him.
All right, you have it, Lieutenant General. I'm gonna salute you. I'm gonna go sit in that room. and
Not a real
cast that spell
title.
for a very
You hear
long time.
Otto just mumble.
It is in the Americas.
Not here. We use proper.
It's Lieutenant General, damn it.
All right, and I'm gonna go head out with everybody. I'm
Okay.
gonna go back to our room. I have a long cast to do. It takes 8 hours.
Okay, dokie. Right.
Wait, what are you casting?
I'm casting a spell on my spell list. It takes a lot of time.
Right, Telde, you are left alone with Wilhelm, which this matters you want to actually handle dialogue-wise?
I'm not sure if we need to. I'm just going to try and talk about Have Day, how we would accept any
Okay.
assistance possible, that sort of stuff.
Because that would actually be it's going to be an incredibly lengthy conversation, because Health Day is still a very sensitive matter. Wilhelm will soon he does his own diplomatic openings and then just basically goes, okay, here is one of your men, Telde, take it away. And you basically start discussing with some familiar voices and some not so familiar that about getting Hevday over. I would like you to roll me a persuasion check, please.
He's good at this.
Okay.
I'm guessing the 8-hour version of that, unless we end up having something go on. That's what I was going to plan to do.
Okay.
All right.
Wow. Would you look at that? Why did I ever doubt that this would go any other way?
So when's our Hev Day coming now?
Not now, but eventually, and this conversation goes on for most of the night. Captain Jensen is sort of roped into it as like sort of unofficial overseer of the Warforged stuff. And it is agreed after a long night's discussion that Heftay's weaponry will be readied for reattachment and activation. Will not be sent through actually attached to him. That he will be sent through with it packaged separately to be overseen based on the comfort of General Greysteel and the Foromir government. His purpose, but Hevday will be allowed to come over with the other Warforged irregulars.
Yay, Hev Day! Also, I like to think that Wilhelm
is
at this point is just like kicking back in his chair, going, "I want to keep this one here on the radio." He's good at talking.
Of course, this is entirely dependent on Hevday's willingness, but by Captain Jensen's tone, nobody believes that there's going to be any question of that.
In fact, they probably had to turn him away from the irregular thing because people kept talking about it, and he was like, "I would go."
You might actually hear somewhere in the background just a loud booming voice of "Send me!"
Wait, I have this.
Now.
I like to imagine that he has a handler. It's not like, leading around. It's just making sure that,
Yeah, I mean, basically, Captain Jensen's his handler. That's basically what it is.
Captain Jensen's seeing a light at the end of the tunnel.
Does that mean we're getting Captain Jensen to help too?
Yes.
Oh no.
2 for 1. Perfect for Telday.
Okay.
Jensen doesn't want to be under me.
No, he should be under Telday.
Oh my.
Eyebrow.
Huh.
Okay. The next day comes around, and basically Telday, you're just going to end up sort of sentry molding there and then, while some discussions are happening. Which, thankfully, does not perturb any of the undead, like any of the guards that come through, any of the council that happen to pop in. It just seems like they accept that this is a thing that your kind does. Oh well.
They have rest mode.
Yeah, it's just part of it, yo.
Mm-hmm.
So does Annalisa. But eventually, morning does come. Most of you are walking by, sort of polite knocks on your door. A ghostly maid coming in, basically fetching basins of hot water, some towels.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate that.
You're very welcome, ma'am.
I hope you're having a really lovely day.
It is a pleasant morning. I hope your day finds you well.
I'm sure it will. Thank you again.
And there's a weird cutscene because she's your traditional trading lower half ghost.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a curtsy to her.
And then she's not having dropped off your basin and towels and not having anything physical to carry with her because the clothing seems to somehow be immaterial, which you are probably going to guess is actually like a way they can do fashion here. Mm-hmm. She just goes through the wall to go get more.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And you're
Wish I could do that.
able to get yourselves cleaned and readied up.
Yep.
Where would those of you that are not already in the council halls like to go? You can go to the council halls, you can go elsewhere. The day is yours.
Cass wants to go shopping.
You want to go shopping?
Cass wants to go shopping. Cass
Are you
wants to
gonna
see what the City of the Dead has to offer in interesting wares.
I don't know where my wolves.
Craftsman here.
Corvus will hang out.
Try and drag Corvus along.
Well, why?
Because whenever we go to the markets, it's always a fun time.
Right.
As you're sort of,
if you want to go back out to the refugee camp, go for it.
as you guys are assume talking in the hallway or the sort of main entry hall here, there are Wraith Guard here. There seems to be a skeletal mage that is basically just sitting in a chair reading a book and is the one basically recasting light spells and such in here because they're still paranoid about that. And he's actually going to glance up at you and go, what kind of shopping are you looking for?
Well, honestly, materials mostly. I kind of need to make a throne for someone, and I haven't had a chance to material shop.
How's everybody doing? Did you see the lovely maid? She brought me fresh towels.
Yes, she was very nice.
She did really nice.
Very nice, says the skeletal mage sitting in the chair.
She's really attractive. Also, you have a very beautiful set of cheekbones there, sir. Just gonna say.
Oh, thank you very much. He seems actually perk up a little that. or looking to Cass and going, materials, non-magical materials.
Mostly woods.
Oh, there's some nice woods. Not used too often around here, but a few carpenters, people that like to carve little trinkets.
Cass
are we
actually
going
perks
shopping?
up. I want to go shopping. I haven't been shopping in a while since the emergency.
Let me get
gear to
Shaxan
come
and
over.
Carrick. You're good for shopping, yeah?
Sam.
Alright.
Carrick's actually going to turn to
You mentioned enchanted materials. Is there someone who can actually enchant in that city?
Kathy, they're like a city of mages, my dear.
That's very funny. Oh,
Cass's ears actually fold down.
oh
Great.
yes. Oh,
I forgot you guys have a higher magical per capita than anywhere else.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Well, as he's walking out, also go, and also I am perfectly able to. You just never asked.
oh, funny. Well, if you wanted to go to such shops,
Cass is actually going to do the entire palms down, looking. If you haven't realized, I'm the dumb one.
the skeletal mage is actually going to lean over towards one of the Wraith guards and just go, why don't you take him by Johann's? Yes, we can. If you want to go shopping, we'll take you to one of the main streets.
Yeah, someplace that you can easily keep an eye on us would be good.
Of course. And, of course, Councilwoman Melinda has instructed us to try and
also
introduce your faces to the citizenship more.
Okay. Just as a warning, because I appreciate you and you're a great guard. This one and this one have a tendency to engage in what we'd like to call roughhousing. And I'm pointing at Corvus and Cassie. We will attempt to shut it down if it starts.
The skeletal mage goes, cute.
I'm having
Cass
to
is
do.
actually going to wheel back. We're not starting that again, are we?
No, I mean the fact that you have a tendency to knock him down and then he knocks you down.
The young.
I have business with my father and Echo, so.
Yes.
He does have other things to deal with.
Yes. Is it possible for us to swing by and let him out the gate on the way? I motion at Corvus.
Certainly, General.
Carrick should actually look over at the mage and be like,
I tell Corvus, you will let Shaxan know when you and your father are coming back. We'll meet you at the gate.
Yes,
I go again, minimizing how much we're making as many of their guards split off into gods know what different angles. I'm so sorry for them.
We'll probably stop by the outskirts.
Yes, it's just blatantly saying that. Like, I can't imagine what it's like for you poor fellows.
Carrick, the mage shows you his spell book.
oh.
He just sort of tilts it forward. You see arcane formula drawn down in it.
What's that?
It's my spell book.
Oh, you keep it in a book?
Yes.
That's how somehow mages do it.
Oh yes, you lot in the sort of mainland have moved over to crystalline stuff. Yes.
Yes, and then there's those like me who.
Don't you miss the? And he just sort of like flicks the pages.
I love books, but how do you make the spell go on the paper?
I'm actually gonna hold up,
arcane inks and so on.
I'm actually gonna hold up the old copy of the spell book I still carry with me from when I first got Ritual
I
Uh,
Cast.
just hear the noise the world makes, and then I resonate that. Do you just do that?
Oh no! That's hard study and memorization, and then forgetting it when you burn the spell out of your mind.
I have a spell that's always trying to do that in my mind. I don't like that.
I am of the persuasion that my blood helps fuel the magic.
Oh, you lucky lot. Funny thing about that, there are casters here that don't have blood anymore, but can still do that.
Really?
Interesting. I mean,
I believe it's a magic etched directly into the soul.
Yes,
So
and yet the blood can still be used to transfer magical property. This is intriguing, no?
it is.
I myself
Cass
am
actually
of
has
the
a depressed sigh about all this.
I am myself of a different caster. I use, and he will actually gesture to the toolkit at his side along with the armor. Stones arm. it is conduited through this to be able to cast.
Oh, yeah, that's an old dwarven technique.
Corvus is sitting next to Cass, rubbing his
Never
head.
mind.
I was really hoping you just could use. I use science.
Hey, at least you're still able to do things.
Corvus, you said one of the guards was a botanist. Or what kind of field of study do you do, sir?
Me?
Yeah.
Botanist.
Botanist.
You said that Oak was a botanist.
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 Well,
There you
I'm
go.
afraid I'm dime a dozen, magical researcher. Specifically, I have a interest in, well, conjuration.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Does he have any accent? Does he have a Hextray accent?
It's really
This
hard
is
to
the-
tell here because it's directly translated into your native
Oh,
tongue.
yeah, that's right. I forgot
Direct
about the
translation.
Tell right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Which is actually really amazing because Kifton's name's getting translated most likely.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is gift?
Actually, no. They have specified that they have trouble with very common words that are names.
So poison doesn't work, huh?
Well, specifically, giften
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not used particularly often.
Yeah. I would say most of the time they've been calling me Graysteel, so
Yeah.
it's funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Because I have the ability to break the translation
Mhm.
with Enochian. That's right. We figured that
Yeah.
one out.
Mhm.
All right, General. Then we will make a tour to the gates to let your fellow go, and then head to the shopping, one of the main shopping streets.
Yep, sounds good.
Thank you. It is much appreciated.
Okay.
Mhm.
There is a sort of a moment before they actually let you out where they're actually organising people. The mage actually puts away his spell book as he's actually seemingly going to accompany you. He's attached to this unit.
Mhm.
Cass actually is going to put her hand out to shake his.
And he takes it, but he takes it in a way of like he takes your hand and like the other hand comes across behind the back of your hand and gives it a very enthusiastic up and down shake.
Cass is going to shake right back. By the way, thank you for your information and helping us out. I do appreciate it, and I think I can speak for the rest of us. We all do appreciate it.
Oh no, it's not a problem at all. I'm rather pleased to be assigned here. It's not often we get the fleshy type here, and it's novel, it's new. I'm
know what novel
all
means.
for it.
I'm a tailor back home, and people buy my outfits because it's novel.
Oh, you're a tailor. I
Yeah,
should have been able to tell. And he sort of gestures at your outfit.
Yeah, I make clothes and people buy them because I'm fey, so they're like, ooh, it's all novel.
Well, maybe you could give me some pointers. I don't have much of a head for fashion myself, and he is wearing the
She's just
robes.
wearing the robes.
The robes aren't plain.
Yes,
But
they have a
the-
comical hat that has stars on it.
Well, it doesn't have stars on it, but it does have a patterning on it. It doesn't. It's just like lines, to sort of like fake mockeries of arcane sigils. But it's not a cone hat, it's a flopped over hat.
Figure a bit better. You need something that really kind of cuts your figure a bit better, and also maybe like something that kind of drapes out and like gives like that that billowiness of the arms from the robe.
Oh, I love billowy arms.
I love that on you. It would look amazing.
Oh, you think
And
so?
Also, a simple
No
belt would.
snitching.
A really good belt, with like we need like
Talk
something
while
kind
we
of-
move.
like-
The one of the guards says, just promoting for you to follow.
Something that really brings out your eyes because you have such powerful, beautiful eyes, and you should
You
just
think
totally
so?
go with that. Yes, look at them; they're wonderful. I
Aw.
love them. You could stare at those all day.
Oh, it's very kind of you to say.
I need to remember if I can.
All right. Okay. Yeah, you're escorted out for the streets, and you're led to these sort of main gates, where Corvus, you're allowed to pass on through. The Wraith Guard actually sort of does a gentle hand on your shoulder before you actually go through the door and goes, "Sir, would you like any of my men to accompany you? We might not be able to enter the encampment itself, but we can stay close."
No, this is a personal affair, but I appreciate it.
Well, the gargoyles will keep an eye on you. If anything goes wrong, you motion for them. We'll get someone to you.
What motion?
He looks at you for a moment and then just sort of waves his arms above his head.
Like
Okay, general got it.
panic.
Yeah,
Yes.
general panic. Got it.
I love this.
I should talk to our new mage friend and find out if I can copy rituals from him.
Right. Did Gifton just promote somebody else to general too?
Yes.
And watch yourself amongst the soldiery there. Not your countrymen, but they've been doing suspicious activity near our walls.
Recently, or
Ever since they arrived.
I'll keep an eye out as well.
He just nods to your family for letting you go through. And the rest of you are led back deeper into the city. They don't try and like divert you away from crowds this time. Not that it gets particularly crowded. It's not like the hustle and bustle of the cities that you're used to. There's chatter, there's people milling about, walking about. But the fact that the life here is 24/7 means that it isn't so condensed at any one time either. There's no lunchtime, so it just tends to be people's pre-arranged meetings and so on. So things are just nice and calm, really.
I was just thinking about this, and you mentioned that. Is it because I never thought about this with Saha, because the population was on a split schedule. Was it in a similar manner?
No, because they still had very common eating times and such together.
Okay.
There's still a few pre-arranged times that are considered important, but it doesn't hold the same value.
Okay.
I gotta head in. It's getting late for me.
Okay, well, we're basically done with you for now then, Marcus, so if you want to head off...
Yeah, okay.
Sounds
good.
Good night, Marcus.
Bye-bye, Marcus.
Have a good time.
Yeah. And the rest of you are led to, looks like to be a street that is basically dedicated stores. You see signage up. It's pretty colourful here. There's like banners held up, lovely sort of overhanging tarps and so on.
Oh wow!
It feels
love this.
It's probably one of the most familiar feeling places that you've come to here. And the guards.
This place is lively.
The guards are clearly a little more on edge here. Just looking about, keeping an eye on things. But your friendly mage actually starts going, okay, so you wanted some wood, right? Yes.
Yes.
There is a nice carpenters over there. They just tend to make, ornamental things and so on, but I'm sure that they have a supply of wood to spare. If we're looking for magical enchantment, and he's just going to start rattling things off as he sort of starts to go to the head of the group and takes the lead on things a little bit.
Right next to him.
And that is where we're going to end the session and say that you are all able to do a shopping thing if you so wish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We might do a bit more roleplay of it next time, but now is a good time to wrap up unless people have any specifics they want to deal with. But yes, we'll get the little minutia shopping up. I might roleplay through some actual magical item buying if people want that, but if we're just arranging enchantment or supplies and so on, we'll handle that out of game.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, that is where we're going to call it this week. Everybody take a nice 4,000 experience points.
XP.
You get your usual 1 piety, and we will do this same time next week.
Sounds good.
Okay.
You figure out close roll 20.
My mouse wasn't letting me let it come. Variance kept shifting.
Yeah.